With Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. Cade Wazee on the audio board, Paul O'Neill on the video board, and with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff on a good-looking weather Wednesday here in the capital city. And, of course, we start with the only topic that anybody is talking about anywhere in America tonight, MAC football.
Yep.
The start of MAC football.
Action.
That's where we are.
Big slate tonight.
The very beginning of MAC football tonight. Full slate on a Wednesday night. No, we start as we usually do on Wednesday with updates from the teleconference and a couple of pieces out of this just about a little over 2 hours ago. From Ed Ogeron. And so we start with the update from Myles Brennan, which is probably a little bit more encouraging than what we had been hearing.
Team on Monday. Yeah, he did throw with the team on Monday, threw on his own. Today he's going to practice a little bit for the first time. We're going to give him some reps, see how he does. And then we're going to take it day by day. But today will be the first day he actually practices with the team. He's going to be dressed in full gear. He's not going to take every rep. We're going to see how far he can go. So
that's about – no, not about. That's as encouraging. And there's something wrong with your microphone. That's as encouraging as anything that we have heard with Myles Brennan. First of all, any throwing that he's done has been extremely light. And when I say extremely light, we're talking about in no pads with no velocity and just barely twisting your midsection, twisting your trunk, if you will. Okay, we've only seen a little bit of that. We saw a little bit of that in the pregame of the last game. So that doesn't even really count. We haven't seen him practiced at all. So given those things, the fact that he threw a little bit on his own on Monday, and the fact that he is actually practicing, they had yesterday off, practicing today, that's encouraging, I would say, to his return. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed. Doesn't mean that he's going to start against Alabama. Just means that he went back to practice. We're talking about practice.
Yep. And my microphone doesn't work.
And your microphone's dead. So I'm just going to move on to the next thing while they find you a replacement, while you find a replacement microphone. And I'm going to get to the next update, which is, this was about Trevez Moore.
I think, I'm assuming he hadn't talked to me about it. So this is an assumption that, Trevez was playing on our cheetah team. He was actually on second team and doing very well. And we were very pleased with his progress and what he was doing. He didn't play very well in the game because he didn't have a lot of game experience. And that he opted out because he wasn't playing much anymore. But I don't know that for sure. He didn't tell me that.
So my concern here is not necessarily that Trevez Moore has left the team, although I don't like to see anybody leave the team. My concern is not that the defense is going to take a big hit because he was only playing a little bit. The defense has been terrible with him, so it can be terrible without him. My concern is that
it sounds so bad when you say it.
Well, I'm sorry.
You're speaking truth. You're speaking truth.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's not like he was a big contributor. He had some potential and he could have helped, but believe me, they've been plenty bad with him, so it's not like, oh, wow, this is the end of the defense. No, what bothers me is that he left without talking to him.
Right.
And that signals to me a little bit of a disconnect between player and coach, and it's not the first time. Because Ed said something similar to this when Tyler Shelvin left, which was when there was the rumor going around that he would opt back in, and Ed said, well, I haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
And so there's a lack of communication between the players and the coaches to the point where they would walk out the building on a guy that for Shelvin he had nurtured for 3 years, and for Moore he had at least given a scholarship for, almost 2, or would have been 2 if he'd have stayed through the rest of this year. And they walk out the door without saying goodbye. I mean, I don't walk out the room here today without saying goodbye to Paul O'Neill. Hey, Paul, good job today. Have a nice evening. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
After 2 years, they just, I'm out. It's why when you suggest is there a disconnect between the staff and the players that you're seeing some evidence of this? And that's the troubling part about the Trevez Moore thing.
I don't know if that's necessarily just happening here. I think a lot of young people today, they don't want to, face something that's uncomfortable. I'll be honest with you. It's an uncomfortable deal.
And I'm not saying it's everybody on the team either. There's maybe a handful of isolated incidents.
I love to give my personal stories here. When I decommitted from Texas after LSU offered, difficult call to make. It is. I had to call Mac Brown and tell him, hey, Coach, LSU did what I didn't think they were going to do. They offered. I'm not coming. I mean, and I was, I went to Evangel, so I was probably 26, but I was I was 18.
You kind of love an Evangel guy making an Evangel joke. That's pretty good.
I was 18, and that was a difficult call to make. Now, the way I was raised, there was no way I wasn't going to do it. Even if it didn't end well, you'd like to see go in, hey, Coach, I appreciate it, but I'm leaving because of A, B, and C. And I don't know where that disconnect is. I don't know which side to kind of throw blame, if there is blame to go around. But I do agree with you that that's a little bit surprising that that's happening without any conversations taking place. And again, I don't know what Coach O would have said, because when people have opted out or left before, it hasn't been, we want to have him back. I'm trying to call him. We wish him well. It's kind of been what Coach O said after that. So, and he was a very talented player. Mentally just wasn't there. Day in and day out, you would just hear things. He had offsides penalties, not once, not twice, but numerous times when he was in there. Just the football IQ part of it and the discipline of that was an issue. And that's why, you turn on the tape, and there's a lot to like there, but he couldn't get him mentally involved in the game plan.
And to be honest with you, I'm more than a little bit concerned about what happens after the Alabama game, because if they get beat by what they're supposed to get beat by, and I'm expecting a point spread that's in excess of 3 touchdowns, and you're not guaranteed a losing season yet, but you're right there. And now if you're planning on moving on, you have put the piece of tape down that you felt like you needed to put down, which is against the best opponent on your schedule.
Right.
Whether you play well or not, that's up to you. But I'm concerned that there are players that are going to say after the Alabama game, you know what, count me out for the rest. This hadn't been any fun. We're getting our brains beat in. If I'm going to the NFL, I've got enough tape down to make my point. If I'm going to transfer out after the season, I just soon save the wear and tear on my body of the last month of the season. You hear this story, the guy's like, man, where's Trevez today? He left.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Where's Tyler today? He left. Okay. I'm very concerned that after the Alabama game that we may not have seen the last of this.
And we've talked about this happening. We didn't think it would necessarily be LSU, but we talked about this into deep August because we.
You're right about it. It's all over the country.
Yeah.
Right? Puka Williams returned the kickoff for a touchdown, and like Forrest Gump, just kept on running right through the tunnel.
I mean,
right to the parking lot and got in his truck and left. I mean, so
Kylan Hill just caught another wheel route on LSU and left. I mean,
exactly. Just caught the wheel right out of the stadium.
Just kept going through the tunnel. I mean, unfortunately that's where you're at if you're not in contention right now, and it's sad that it's happening to a program like LSU. But even Texas A&M's had some of this, and they're in contention. Right, if they run the table, they've got a real good shot at getting the college football playoff, kind of a backdoor way into the college football playoff. And it's how do you stop it? Because I agree with you. If you go out there and you get embarrassed by 3-4 touchdowns against Alabama, what happens then? And I don't know what you can do to put a halt to it.
One more, winning would help, although I don't know that that's the cure-all at this point. The one more from Ed. This was about, and again, this is kind of answering our question here, giving his thoughts on what we're talking about, which is keeping the players from last year engaged.
It's a problem process. We got a challenge. I had meetings with our players, talking to our players one-on-one, motivational. We have a lot of football left. And look, man, we got the University of Alabama coming up, our biggest rival, and that's enough right there. And, we have to take it one game at a time, Jock. We're going to see where it goes. My job is to get this team better, keep them together, and have them competing at a high level to win every game. We haven't done that yet this year. And so I got to do a better job. Our coaches have to do a better job. And our players got to stay believing in each other. And I think they will.
It's part coach, part psychologist. That's the job in 2020. Yeah. You've got to keep everybody engaged. It's hard. It's hard in business. It's hard in society. It's hard with all of the restrictions that we've got in our lives right now to consider anything normal. And for the football players, hey, they've seen other guys go. A lot of them have plans post LSU that you can see it from here now.
Yeah.
It's not July anymore. It's not August. It's not if you're going to have a season. It's November now. The season's going to be over in December. And the next phase of your life starts immediately after that, whether it's, players that are planning on leaving for the NFL or players that are planning on leaving for another school. And there'll be an influx. There'll be players at other schools that don't like where they are that come in here. We'll spend all spring talking about that, I'm sure. But be prepared for the inevitable attrition that comes along with 2020. And Ed's job is to make sure that it, doesn't happen any sooner than it has to. And before you start with, well, what players have NFL aspirations based on how they've played this year, once you get past, say, Terrace Marshall, remember that LSU's had a lot of players leave that weren't exactly drafted high or in some cases drafted at all, which is a whole nother problem. Cheery notes to start.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here trying to think which underclassmen would have the actual decision, a smart decision to forego his senior year, or technically forego another junior year in this year, and enter the NFL draft.
Terrace Marshall, that's the list.
That's the list.
That's the whole list.
I agree with you. But as we know, we've been here long enough. We've been doing this long enough. We know that's not going to be the only one.
No, how many times we've seen, there's no need to go through the list again. Why is that guy going pro? He's not going to be drafted. Why is that guy going pro? He's going to be drafted in the 7th round.
If he came back, he'd be a first rounder.
And sometimes that's overblown, but if you're undrafted or if you're drafted at the end of the draft in the 6th or 7th round, I don't think there's any question that you could improve your stock if you came back. I don't expect everybody to be Joe Burrow or Justin Jefferson or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, all of whom went in to their final seasons at LSU with much lower draft grades than what they ended up with.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you can't improve your stock in some way. So the coach has got a job on his hands, but this is why you get the good parking spot, you get the big check, you get the nice office. This is what comes with it. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Ken Trahan from Crescent City Sports will be with us in the latter part of this hour. I think this is the second time that we've scheduled Ken to talk about the Saints, where we have to talk about the Pelicans because apparently Drew Holiday is on the trading block. We'll talk with Ken about that. So we'll come back with Kat Terrell in the second hour, and we'll talk Saints football with her. Peter Burns in the 2 o'clock hour. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll look ahead to the weekend in the SEC with Russ Mitchell of College Football News. Saints getting ready for the Bucs. How's Mike Thomas's hamstring? We're talking about it 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Bonus points if you can tell me something about one of the following two guys. You ready? This is a Trivia Tuesday, except it's Wednesday. You ready?
Sure.
And this guy's name's come up on the show before. Cooper Rush. You know who Cooper Rush is?
He was at one time the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
He may be better than that this time. He might be the starting quarterback if Garrett Gilbert, now that's a little bit more of a familiar name, may actually start. You remember Garrett Gilbert, don't you?
Didn't he start his career at Texas?
Yeah, he was the guy that had to go in the game when Colt McCoy got knocked out of the national championship
was at that game in the Rose Bowl.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he got then he transferred. He finished up at SMU.
Yep.
And Cooper Rush went to Central Michigan. So one of these cats is going to start for the Cowboys this week because Ben Nadusi, You remember Ben Naducci,
yeah,
don't
James
you?
Madison. Yeah,
right,
big
exactly.
fan of James Madison.
Ben Naducci's game wasn't exactly awe-inspiring. Although I thought it could have been worse. Well, not much worse. But look, he didn't throw any interceptions. It could have been something there. It's all about managing the play-in time for young people, and that's what coaches that have injuries and have other things have to deal with, like Coach O.
It's something that I'm constantly talking to our players about, constantly. But you know what? I tell them you earn the right to play on the practice field. And then there's a lot of freshmen that have played for us, and some have done very well. You know, you look at Eric Gilbert and B.J. Ojolari right there from Atlanta, two outstanding players for us. TJ had one outstanding game. So we got some guys that are playing very well. Now we got some young guys that have to learn how to play, but you got to earn your right to play.
I think this is going to be a tricky management through the rest of the year. He's already made some personnel changes. He's rotated some guys. We said this on the post game. At pretty much every position, he has made not wholesale changes, but he's made at least some significant changes. And the only place he hasn't done it is on the offensive line. He's made a couple of moves because of injury or suspension. The rest of it has maintained status quo because they've only got one guy that they really feel good about as a backup.
Right.
So put your coach's cap on for a second as you get into the second part of the season here. How do you manage playing time for young players? At what point in your head do you say, the upperclassman is not doing well enough for me to continue to play him? I'm going to see what I got in the young guy.
It's close. And if you were playing a different opponent coming up, I'd probably say now. But I think
let's take the Alabama game out of the equation. That's just going to be something you try to get past.
If it doesn't go well, the time is now, right? Because this is a program that is championship or bust every single year, correct? So you're not getting there this year, obviously. Go ahead, see what you have. And I'm talking about, okay, well, hey, what's Cardell Thomas have? What does Doomerville have on the offensive line? What do some of our young guys have? Because
Marlon Martinez.
Yeah, that's a unit that struggled. Okay, let's see what the young guys have. Let's see what they can give us. That's in my mind, in my opinion, that's the position where I go to. Let's see what some of our young guys who we've recruited, who have been high 4 or 5 star guys, have right now in this current state. Because I think you have to count on some of those guys next year. I don't think there's any question about that. Not only because you're going to lose a couple of players, but that's a position that you absolutely need some guys to giddy up and go.
You are not curtailed by the redshirt rule this year. That doesn't apply. So you're not talking about eligibility. Would you take a longer look at Jaquilin Roy, Jacoby and Guillory, who we haven't really seen at all? We're talking about guys like Phillip Webb, Josh White. In the secondary, we finally saw Radarius Jones. We saw a little bit of Jordan Tolles. Was a miscommunication right off the bat. Even Dwight McLaughlin. Are you ready at that point at 2-4? If you lose to Alabama, you're ready.
It can't get worse. And I don't mean that to try to be funny. I don't mean that to try to get a laugh. Currently, right now, with your veteran players, you're having miscommunication across the board. What's the one thing you worry about with young players? Not knowing what to do and miscommunicating.
Okay, so just a second ago, though, I told you or asked you, we were discussing the idea that upperclassmen would walk out the door at that point. You take the playing time away, and all you're doing is pushing them even closer to that decision.
If you don't want to be replaced, play better.
Okay. Stop making sense, please.
I just think that you're at a crossroads right now, okay? You've got this year is one that did not go your way. The expectations are always high here. Okay, well, this one didn't go your way. You've got a really good recruiting class currently that a lot of guys, as Coach O just mentioned, are playing really well. You've got a top class coming in that already looks really good that could only get better, in my opinion. That's coming in. Okay, well, start to play some of the future right now, because If you had a deal where you were losing nail biters, you were losing 3-point games, and everything was fundamentally sound, but because your quarterback got hurt or because one injury, you just couldn't close those games, we're in a different conversation right now. That's not the case.
Well, maybe. Let's take the last 3 games. I know everybody's all bummed out about the Auburn game. Why wouldn't you be? But the game before that, you won by 28 points. And the game before that, you lost on the last play of the game. So are you closer to is the Auburn game the outlier? Or do you have to go back and say, well, no, man, I got to count Mississippi State too.
Mississippi State was
the most appalling game of the year.
Yes.
Way worse than Auburn.
And it was a 10-point victory in
even
a
though
game
it wasn't.
that felt like it was a lot worse. And so it's a Missouri game. So we could sit here and we could pick apart the schedule. I just think you have really talented young players, and why not try to play some of them? I'm not saying put every single one of them in at the same time. Hey, let's spot it here. Let's see what this guy can give us with the ones. Let's spot him here. Let's see what he can give us with the ones. I'm not talking about putting the bomb squad in on offensive line and getting your quarterback killed. That's a different conversation.
Sure.
No, I'm talking about let's spot play this guy in this certain situation, because I do think you want to start to see what you have in the future and get him some experience. If this year doesn't count for anybody, why not?
They've already started to do this at wide receiver a pretty good bit. We've seen a lot of Keyshawn Boutte. We've seen a lot of Trey Palmer. We've seen a decent amount of Coy Moore, to be honest with you. So at least we've seen those guys. The sophomores are playing at running back. Seen all the quarterbacks. Okay, I'm ready to look at some other guys too, but not all of them just yet. And the other thing is, if you put a kid in against Alabama in a bad spot, that's a tough debut to make, or a tough second appearance to make. You don't want to completely destroy anybody's confidence either. You skip the Alabama game?
No, I mean I'm not going to dodge anybody, but I hear what you're saying.
No, I mean not you personally. I'm talking about this idea. Do you skip this idea for the Alabama game? Because I think for the most part, I would. I don't know that I'm putting anybody out there for their 8th offensive play of their college career against Alabama unless I have to.
If the opponent was a little bit different this week, we'd have a different conversation. But I agree with you right now. Get guys that have playing time because of the opponent. Real quick, I do want to answer a question inside the Bayou 4 chat. Bama Gump asks, are they really championship or bust every year? I don't think they're there yet. They are. Because in the last 20 years, there's only one school, Bama Gump, and it's the school you root for, that has won more national titles. LSU in the last 20 years has the second most. I mean, this is a program that has high aspirations, and they've played for a 4th, right? Yeah. And they were how many plays away in 2006 from playing for a national title, right? So this is a team that, yeah, I truly believe it is, it's SEC championship, national championship, or we consider it like how do you view 2006? It was a good season. They don't celebrate Sugar Bowls here, though, anymore. That point is past. A Sugar Bowl is a good season. The Fiesta Bowl in 2018, it's exciting because of where the program was at the time. The year prior to it, 16, and 17 for the most part. So, yeah, you celebrate it, but it's not, man, we're going to throw a parade. Other places do that. Not here, not anymore.
It may not seem that from the outside, and this is my opinion on why. If you go back to 2000 and you said 2006, okay, this is the last year that Saban wasn't in the league. So 7 out of 14 seasons, the national champion has come. No, I'm sorry, 8. Forgot about Auburn for a second. Yeah. 8 out of 14 seasons, the national champion has come from the SEC besides LSU. Bama's won 5, Auburn's won 1, and Florida won 2. You might have been the second best team in your division some of those years. They were.
Yeah.
You might have one year you were the second best team in the country, but you lost inside your league. If you were the second best team in another league or had this type of talent in another league, I mean, how many years would they have won the Big 12? How many years would they have won the ACC?
Yeah.
A few, quite a few. But they happen to be in a division with 6 national champions and the cross-division permanent rival of 2 more. It's better than half.
Yeah.
And then in 3 of those years, you either won or played for the national championship. I mean, that's pretty much all of them, right? That's most of the seasons, other than the year that Oregon played Ohio State, and I think one other one. It always runs through the SEC, doesn't it? That's why, yes. But I can understand why you would think it doesn't seem like that.
And in 2006, just doing some research, LSU finished third in the country. I didn't realize we finished that high. I thought we were somewhere.
It was a really good team. Yeah. It was a really good team.
Again, finished third in the country. And to my point, I know I was on that team. We don't talk about it a lot. Just a good Sugar Bowl team. It's good. It's not where LSU wants to be.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
You know, everybody knows about going to buy a car at the end of the year. You know, you get some of the models from the current year that are being moved out for models in the coming year. Well, works the same way with Skag units. Skag, best zero-turn unit on the market, whether it be commercial or residential, right now is offering you 60 months interest-free financing. And with some of the 20s that they're anxious to move, there are deals to be made. You can get your Skags at either location at Gotros Outdoor Power.
Yeah, you're right. That's two locally, Airline and Industrialplex in Baton Rouge, Airline at 74 in Gonzales. Go check out the showroom, the Turf Tiger, the Tiger Cat, the Patriot, the Freedom Z. They've got something for whatever you need over at Gotros. Of course, you can always check them out online at GotrosOutdoorPower.com, because if you're listening to us in North Louisiana, watching us across the state of Louisiana, remember, free delivery to you. So go check out the website again, GotrosOutdoorPower.com. Gotros, we make it easy.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up.
On Game Time tonight from Louis Cafe. That's right, for 80 years. Breakfast and lunch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just outside the north gates of LSU. Election? Maction. Tonight, Game Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ken Trahan for Crescent City Sports will be with us here in about 10 minutes. Did want to make mention of two results from the election yesterday that are affected in the world of sports. Number one, Tommy Tuberville is a United States Senator.
And obviously they do not watch college football because all night it was Tuberville.
Right. Yeah. And I think he won. I didn't look at it too close. I think he won whatever county it is Tuscaloosa's in.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
It was a landslide.
Did you? I only saw one excerpt from one of his speeches. He says, "You guys." He won 7 out of 10 against Alabama. He said, "You guys should like me. You're the reason I have. I'm the reason you have Saban."
That's
powerful powerful election tool. In
true. It was
in
so weird
Tuscaloosa.
seeing those commercials. Whoever was running against him, he's like, he quit on Ole Miss, he quit on Auburn, he quit on Texas Tech and Cincinnati.
Oh man, you don't want to know. The other one, of course, is a sports wagering bill that passed here in East Baton Rouge Parish by better than a 2-1 margin. The polling had suggested to us that this was going to be a big win, and it was 68% to 32%, so better than a 2-1 margin on the sports gambling. Like they were explaining, and we knew this, but if you don't follow the sports gambling all that closely, this doesn't mean that it is imminent. But
right
now they've got to work on a bunch of things, tax-wise, format-wise. The biggest thing is going to be, are they going to allow you to wager on your phone? Because if they do, then you'll be able to wager with pretty much any book in the state of Louisiana from the comfort of your own home. And if they don't, then you're going to have to go into a brick and mortar facility, even if they have geofencing on the property, which is what they have in Mississippi, which is designed to allow you to, if you have a hotel room, not have to walk down to the sports book. But the second you get off of the property, then you're no good. We've heard from our friends at the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall and others, that the New Jersey law, which allows you to do this on your phone, there are people that will just go across the bridge from New York City, pull over to the side of the road, make their bet, turn around and go back to New York, and they're soaking up all that money. So that'll be my main interest is to what are the formatics of it going to be. And I'm not an expert in political procedure or anything like that, but I think we're hoping that next football season that this is ready. So it passed, and it passed in almost all of the parishes.
And I'm not surprised, but does this include daily fantasy? Because I know like DraftKings and FanDuel, that's not something that.
Well, that had already passed. That had already passed. The fantasy.
But you can bet on those sites, if I'm not mistaken. Like you can bet actual games on those sites. Sorry.
Oh yes, yeah, right. Yeah. So again, that's part of it. How are you going to? How are you going to format this? How are you going to tax it? How's it going to go?
I'm glad to know my friends that live up in Shreveport won't have to drive to Wascom, Texas anymore to try to get their daily fantasy lineups in.
Wascom, Texas?
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from Shreveport.
It's about Longview?
So Longview's about an hour from Shreveport. Okay. Wascom's about 15 minutes.
No, they made in Longview, Texas, right?
Really good football team, the Lobos.
The beer, right? It was
Matthew McConaughey was made in Longview, Texas. It's his birthday, by the way. All right.
Why do you know that?
So on our SEC show, we have a segment at the end of each hour called Rapid Fire Water Cooler, and we usually go over like famous birthdays and give like a little quick snippet about it.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know. We get back, Ken Trahan will be talking. It's
P. Diddy's birthday, in case you're wondering as well.
P. Diddy and Matthew McConaughey share a birthday?
They do.
And you say you don't learn anything on this show.
That's right.
Come on. Hang with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air, an independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. We might get a little bit closer toward the heating part of this. Have your unit checked, and if you're part of their service that gets it checked twice a year, you'll be automatically scheduled. This means that your unit's going to run at its optimum efficiency, and that's going to mean lower energy bills for you. I've told you many times that the American Standard is a money saver. It is an energy saver in our home, and it can be for you as well.
So you're going to get the best service with Tiger Air. So why would you not want to get the best service with saving money at the same time. The Comfort Assurance Protection Plan, discounts on parts and labor, that seasonal maintenance that Hanny talks about, that's going to save you money because you're not going to shock the system, increase equipment life, lower utility bills. You're also going to get discounted emergency and priority service. Of course, you're going to get increased comfort as part of that as well. The Comfort Assurance Protection Plan, tiger-air.com, 225-754-8687.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, Executive Chef Michael Johnson answers all of your Munchies questions. We preview the biggest college games on the slate, and we continue to dive deep into the big one, Saints-Bucks Sunday Night Football. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Joining us now from CrescentCitySports.com, our friend Ken Trahan. Ken, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, doing fine. Good to be with you.
Well, as has happened to us a couple times now, we We call to talk to you about the Saints, and the Pelicans end up being a bigger story as we close in on the draft. A story out of The Athletic that the Pelicans are actively shopping Drew Holiday. Denver has been mentioned. Miami has been mentioned. Before we get into specific potential deals, what are your thoughts on the Pelicans actively putting him on the market? And there's a lot of teams that are interested.
Well, it makes sense on every side. Number one, you have a new head coach in Stan Van Gundy. Number two, you have a glut of guards, as I've talked about for a long period of time now. When you have 6 or 7 guards, all of whom can play, that need playing time, how do you facilitate that? If you really like Nikhil, Alexander Walker, if you really like Frank Jackson, the younger players you have, then you got to find a place for them. Josh Hart's going to play. We all know Lonzo Ball's going to be their point guard. Stan Van Gundy's raved about him. So that's clear. You got J.J. Redick. So, again, you have to find minutes for guys that clearly can play. If you like these younger players, you got to get them on the floor at some point. Drew Holiday's 30. He gets paid a lot of money. He's a good player. Not a great player, but a good player. He's by far your best defender, though. And for a team that couldn't defend, and you've spoken about the fact that you must be much better defensively, well, that's not the way to do it, right? To let your best defender go. That said, given the circumstances of what they have and what you might be able to get in return, yes, it makes sense. They need help up front. They need to get stronger. They need rim protection for sure. They obviously need to improve defensively. But the one area of the team where they do have an abundance of players is the guard position. So, therefore, based on that and a new coach, it makes sense.
Ken, if I said, not even a player name, but just a type of player, if I said you can get this for Drew Holiday, your ideal situation would be what?
Rim protector. I think a center. I mean, look, no disrespect to Derek Favors. He's a solid guy. He was a backup in Utah, and he did a solid job here, but he's not a scorer, and he's not a rim protector. He can rebound the ball and defend adequately, but he's not there in the other areas. Look, when you have deficiencies on the perimeter defensively, the way to cover that up is to have somebody as your last resort that can cover up for you by protecting the rim. And they don't have anybody like that. Look, Jackson Hayes is an athletic young man, but he was 19 last year. He's thin. He's got to grow, and hopefully he'll grow into being the kind of player they hope he can be, but that's not him at this point in time. So to get themselves a veteran player of that ilk that can really protect the rim, that can bang as well and defend, then certainly I think that's one area you absolutely want to improve in, and I think have to improve in.
All right, so let's talk about some potential places that he might end up. Let's start with the Nets, because this came up even before Stan Van Gundy was hired, and Karis LeVert was the name that came up. Now, that's another wing player, but he's a bigger wing player, and he's a very good scorer for them, with potentially a top 10 protected pick going over in that deal as well. Jared Allen is a center whose name has come up. Does that deal make sense?
Yeah, center certainly makes sense. With LeVert is a really good player, and if you're thinking along those lines, of course, the thought process is, well, where's he going to fit? You got Ingram, and Williamson's got to play. Well, at times last year, or last season, not last year, Williamson was most effective playing the 5. Now, he can't play the 5 spot against the really big guys that are athletic. There's no chance. I mean, he's 6'6". But against others, it made sense. Look, people beat Williamson off the bounce when he's out on the perimeter because, let's face it, he's a little bit heavy. He's not able to guard athletic forwards on the perimeter. But down low against guys that don't completely overmatch him, certainly it fits in well. So that's where you would see a LeVert fitting in well, because you could have 3 frontline guys playing that are all forwards, and you don't play with the center, which, of course, a lot of teams don't now anyway. And we saw last year they played 3 guards on a regular basis, which made sense given their talent level, which I spoke about previously. So I think New Jersey would be one. You mentioned Denver, certainly. Miami, yeah. These are all contending teams that might need that one other piece to get them to where they want to get. And I think Drew Holiday, they say he's a good basketball player. And he's a tough guy, and he's a good guy in the locker room. Everybody likes him. I'm not advocating just trading him. I'm just saying he's the one asset you have that could get you value in return. The only other would be Lonzo Ball based upon where he's at in his career, and they've already pretty much stated that's not happening. So, again, it's clearly Holiday. I mean, there's nobody else on your roster that would be attractive to someone else that would be willing to part with something significant to make you better.
I want to talk about two specific deals, two specific teams with players. Since you brought up the Nuggets, I'll start there. Michael Porter Jr. looks like a potential star and started to come on really strongly in these playoffs. The only reason he dropped in the draft so much from Missouri is because of that back injury. That fear appears to have been alleviated. Whether Porter came to New Orleans or they put a third team in there, like the Chicago Bulls, for instance, is that a deal that you think is possible? Would the Nuggets part with Michael Porter Jr.?
Well, I'm kind of prejudiced there because Michael Porter Sr. is a friend of mine. I did his games at the University of New Orleans, right?
Good, so you have inside information, right?
So I know Michael Sr. very well. Tremendous guy, and he was a good player, too, at UNO when they were quite good in an NCAA team back in 1985, 86 with Benny Dees, and then 86, 87, of course, was when they won 26 games and won an NCAA game. But so there's that. But with regard to Porter, he's such a talent. I can't imagine at this stage of his young career they part with him, although we saw there was a little bit of tension there last year, right, with regard to Porter and his teammates and some of the comments that were made. So who knows? Maybe there's a chemistry thing there that might allow them to at least entertain the thought. They have two other elite players, of course. So, yeah, look, if you could get a young talent like that has the ability to grow as a player, oh, man, you'd jump all over that.
The other one is with the Heat, and the player's name that has come up a number of times is Tyler Hero. Hero had a great run in the playoffs. He's the same. He's a guard. He's a wing, but he's much younger and he's much cheaper. He is nowhere near the defender that Holiday is. If the Heat think that they are one player away from a championship, and certainly they made a run this year, would they entertain that? Because I hear mixed things. I hear that, yes, they would make that deal, but I also hear people that would say that they're not parting with Hero, that he's as close to untouchable as you can get right now.
I would think the latter is true. I don't know how you would think about parting with him after what they saw from him in the latter stages of the regular season and in the bubble into the playoffs. The kid is more athletic than you think he is, and that anybody thought he was. Of course, we know he can shoot. And he's pretty decent off the bounce. You know, the defensive end, obviously he's not great there, but he's not terrible. So I think with a young talent like that, especially with the team that got to the finals and played as well as they played, would you really be willing to part with a young player like that? That was a very important reason you got to where you got. I would tend to doubt it unless they absolutely positively are sold out in believing that Holiday is that guy that can absolutely make them a better team and give them a chance to actually compete with a Western Conference team if they were to reach the final again.
Ken, if they are aggressive, can you see them making a trade that's just Drew Holiday, then maybe another trade that's all the draft assets that they have, or more, let's package one big deal together to try to get the best return that we possibly can in one deal?
Yeah, I think there's other pieces on the roster that certainly are guys that are capable of contributing and playing in the league, as we've already seen. So, yeah, and then who knows? It's always about beauty being in the eye of the beholder. Maybe some other team likes one of those young guards I spoke of that you have previously. Maybe somebody's enamored of the athleticism of Jackson Hayes and his age and his ability to grow. All it takes is one, right? And then you find one suitor, one out there that believes that one guy can really make a difference, and therefore they'd be willing to part with him and do something, and then that's what deals are made of. So I don't think you give away the house. I mean, look, there's untouchables, obviously. I mean, we know Ingram's not going anywhere. We know Williamson's not going anywhere. Well, at this stage of his career, we know Redick's not going anywhere. Josh Hart, I don't believe is going anywhere, although he'd be intriguing because I call him the Energizer Bunny. The guy gives you tremendous effort and energy off the bench. He's a hell of a rebounding guard. And when he shoots it well, he's really good. So they have some assets. So, no, it would not shock me if they ended up being involved in more than a one-player deal that became a multiplayer situation.
Ken, last one. Draft is 2 weeks from today. Does this deal absolutely have to get done before the draft?
Well, you would like it to be, right? Because then you can go in there with the right perspective and knowing exactly what you want to do if, in fact, you haven't already involved trading your assets in the draft as well. So I don't think it absolutely has to happen before then, but that would be the ideal situation.
Ken Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com. Hey, Saints and Bucks, real quick. What do you like?
Well, I mean, I think you have to like the Bucks. They're at home. There's revenge. They have Brown now. They're playing they were playing lights out until Monday night. I think they got caught looking ahead, don't you? I mean, I don't think they played very well. And that's a common reality. But good teams find a way to win, just like the Saints have done so. But look, the Tampa Bay is a solid favorite in the game, understandably so. The good news for the Saints is they haven't, in my mind, come close to playing their optimum football, and part of that has to do with who they have on the field, and that's going to be the biggest story this week. Is let's see who's actually going to be on the field for New Orleans on Sunday. I think that will make all the difference in the world.
Ken, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Ken Trahan, CrescentCitySports.com. Take a break. Back on the other side for hour number 2. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet. And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, hanging with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard Sonda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Got your coffee? You warm and fuzzy?
I always have my coffee in the Tundra.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's
Hey, Hunt's here.
Yeah, full disclosure, I totally forgot Hunt was coming back in
Not
today.
usually on Wednesdays.
Back-to-back days. I got the text, hey, I'm at the door. I'm like, okay, why are you at the door? Are you bringing us pizza or something? Just for the...
absolutely not.
I could have told you not with that. Hey, you remember back in the really doldrums of the complete shutdown, you remember what we used to sit and go, man, just give us some games. Just give us some games. We don't care what kind of games. You know, we'll break down middle relievers for the Twins. You know,
We'll take golf between quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Dialed in.
The Rocket Mortgage Open up in Detroit, man.
God.
We were
I watched every stroke of it.
We were zeroed in, man. I watched 2 quarterbacks play golf.
Yeah.
And believe me, that was an entire afternoon. And what do we do? Just give us games.
Yeah.
Just give us games back. Just give us games back. The MAC is here for you.
And I'll take, by the way, no slander here. I will take Maction and Fun Belt in the middle of the week in a year.
Every year.
Yeah.
I think this should be permanent. I think the Sun Belt should play only on Tuesday nights, and the MAC should play only on Wednesday nights. And then we get a couple of games on Thursday night, park a Big Ten or an ACC game on Friday night, and everybody else plays on Saturday. The pros get Sunday and Monday. And if they want to keep doing that Thursday night thing, go right ahead. If it was me, I'd move the Thursday night game to a Monday night football pro doubleheader every week. I mean, just put me in charge of the
Somebody's got to
stuff.
get you in charge. Clearly, you're in the wrong
We
place.
found the czar of college football.
Okay, so find the holes in that theory. What who doesn't that work for?
The fans of the MAC schools.
Well,
have you seen their attendance?
No.
They've been social distancing for a long time.
Okay, good.
Okay, when I said all of the games, what I meant was I meant all of the weeks. I don't have to. There's 6 conference games tonight. Obviously, it's a unique situation. I don't need every team in the MAC playing every Wednesday. And I understand they want some Saturday afternoons too. Yeah. But give me 2 MAC games every Wednesday night and 2 Sun Belt games every Tuesday.
Yeah, conference-only games because, like a school like Coastal Carolina or Louisiana Lafayette, obviously they're going to, play better opponents because they're better teams, and they're going to try to get like Coastal Carolina's played in Lawrence, Kansas the last 2 years. ULL has played they played Iowa State, obviously. Both those teams won those games, so they want those. But, yeah, once you get into conference play, get the next week, the week before off or next week off, however you want to do it, I'm with you.
Buffalo and Northern Illinois has no value to anybody outside of fans of Buffalo and Northern Illinois if you play that game at 11 o'clock on Saturday. Play it at 6 o'clock tonight, you're going to get 10 times the audience. Yep. Same thing with Western Michigan and Akron, and Ohio and Central Michigan, and Ball State.
Way more than 10 times the eyeballs. Lots and lots times the eyeballs.
I just think this is a great idea. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. as soon as they put it in place,
because I'm all for it. I will have at least 2 of these throughout the night in the background somewhere. I might not watch every play, but I'll have them on, and I'll stop and watch a couple series here and there. That's after.
You don't want to watch people bicker about who's cheating in the election?
No, I don't. I don't want to look at that at all. The Irish have a game tonight, so maybe I need to DVR it.
You didn't attend the pre-show meeting.
I did not.
Okay, well, just let me give you the gist of it. No election.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sports show around here. The only election we're doing is the sports gambling, and
that passed.
Now we're done.
That's
and
good.
It did. It did. Now this is a whole bunch of games in the next 3. You got BYU and Boise State on Friday night. That's a pretty solid match. top 25 teams. That's is BYU really for real, because they're a favorite on the blue turf.
Smurf turf.
I'm going to pick them. It's all SEC games. The Memphis game, because everybody in it besides me lives in Memphis, and then we get one other game. That's the other game this week. I'm laying the 2.5 with the Cougs.
BYU's played a lot more games than Boise State has. BYU is damn physical. I mean, for a guy that likes, old school football, bring a tear to a glass eye watching that team play. It's like power football with spread concepts. It's like the best of both worlds. So I love BYU, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch them. Jeff Grimes, former offensive line coach here at LSU, is the OC, dialing them up. Boise, obviously, historically a really good program, but BYU's played a lot of good football already.
Well, Zach Wilson is like, his 2020 is Joe Burrow 19 light. He's 75% of his passes, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's a dark horse Heisman candidate. He's not quite having the season that Burrow had through 7 games a year ago.
Not quite the opponents, but I guess
certainly not the opponents. But like that's why I said it's Joe Burrow light. Yeah. It's not Joe Burrow regular.
The last time I watched BYU play, they were on the Superdome carpet, and they were atrocious. They've gotten better since then?
They have, indeed. That was, 2016?
It was my first time on the pre- and post-game show. God, they were bad.
The last time I saw BYU, they were kicking a meaningless field goal with 58 seconds to go to rub Western Kentucky's nose in it.
Sorry, Western Kentucky, play better. Just saying.
You pick on Western Kentucky?
The toppers.
Really?
Yeah. There's a hardball there for a long time. You know how I feel about the hardballs. I almost said a bad word there.
Don't do that.
Gosh, I mean, he just brings that out in me.
Hunt, we started off this show with an Ed Ogeron quote about the possibility of Myles Brennan coming back. So he's going to practice today. This is the most encouraging report that we've heard since the injury. He's going to be in full gear. He's going to throw. He's not going to take every rep. I really should just play the clip again, but that's the gist of it. So what do you think?
I think Ed Ogeron has been remarkably forthcoming, even when he didn't have to be, about injuries. Really, his whole time at LSU, but specifically this year, he's come out and told us people were out for games that we didn't even know they were hurt because we don't go to practice. And so that's what I've come to expect from him, especially this year. My gut tells me he may play the quarterback for the Alabama game a little bit closer to the vest, but he may not. He may stay right on brand and tell us on Tuesday or Wednesday what he thinks. We'll see.
What are the chances that he doesn't know? That
very good. I think
that they're
probable.
They're literally sending him out there, throw the ball and see how you feel, and nobody knows how he's going to feel.
That's exactly what I think is the case.
When he wakes up tomorrow, how do you feel a day after throwing the ball? That's why I think that this injury is the toughest one to try to forecast, because I literally don't think that they know. It's not a normal injury.
Here's the question is what they're evaluating next week. It's I can't or it hurts. Like if he just simply can't make the motion that demands of a quarterback, well, he can't play. Well, if it hurts, how bad does it hurt on Wednesday? How bad does it hurt on Thursday? How bad does it wake up when you wake up on Saturday? That's, I think, what it becomes.
Having him in that huddle would be so key in this game. I mean, we can talk about talent, we can talk about this, that, or the other, but just hearing that familiar voice of Myles Brennan, even though I know he hasn't been the starter, but just the guys know him. They know when he's in there, he's going to be calm. They know he's going to run the offense. They know what to expect from him. That goes a long way, Han. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. You know that. Just to have that voice that can say, hey, here's what we're doing. Stop being dumb. Don't do all that. Don't look at that. Don't look at this. No, we're going to do this. It goes a long way.
How many times did we say over the course of June, July, August, and through September, because we didn't know how Myles Brennan was going to play at the beginning. And he got off to a little bit of a shaky start at the beginning of the Mississippi State game. He settled down, and he looked fine the rest of the way, and he looked fine in the other 2 games. They have an enormous amount of time invested in Myles Brennan. Every rep of everything that went on this whole summer, this double camp, triple camp, if you will, started with Myles Brennan. Every backup rep over the last, 2 of the last 3 years anyway, went to Myles Brennan. He's been in every film room, been in every meeting, been through every walkthrough. They are fully invested in Myles Brennan. And that's why I suggested to you earlier in the week that keeping an open competition between Johnson and Finley might not be the best idea, that I would almost rather pick one and give them the best chance to succeed. Give them the most reps. Give them the most experience that they can get, like you said, in that huddle, at the line of scrimmage, all those things. There's some risk involved in that. You keep people more engaged if you have more than one competing for the job, and certainly you run the risk of, if the guy goes out there and completely throws up on himself, that you haven't adequately prepared the backup. But I think that's the chance that you take, and you invest those reps.
You got to pick your poison. One of those two has to be the case. You've either got to get both of them ready, or you got to get one of them ready and sacrifice the amount of reps your first teamer gets. So you got to get one of them ready and sacrifice the reps for the second guy. One of them, you just got to pick which one you decide.
No, apparently he doesn't, because he said he was going to keep the competition going. And so now you've got a competition going between those two, and now you've got Brennan coming back to practice today. That's 3 people that's taking reps. So if 3 people are taking reps, I mean, you got a bye week, so you got a couple of practices here extra, so you can do this today and tomorrow, and then they get Friday off, Jacob, along with Saturday and Sunday. So, but I think by Monday you got to know.
Okay.
If Brennan can go, I think you got to know.
Let me ask you this: how much Bama stuff do you think they're doing this week? Not how much traditionally they do, because I'm certain last year they went right into it, but this year you've got plenty you need to fix without ever looking at anybody in a crimson helmet.
Yeah, what did he say? They took, a day and a half to work on themselves and self-evaluate, self-scout, and then they transitioned to Bama, I believe he said, today and tomorrow. So they took, a walkthrough type Monday, so I'll call that a half of practice, and then Tuesday to self-evaluate, see what they needed to correct, and obviously we can make a bunch of jokes about that, but now they're getting into Alabama to get that 2-day preparation before they get a couple days off. And yeah, I was surprised that they got some extended time off, because you had a couple of days there before you played against South Carolina. I realize this is the normal bye week, but I thought you would at least maybe have something on Friday, then give them the weekend.
Aren't you on the 20-hour rule anyway?
Well, they were off yesterday.
Kate, I told a funny, apparently.
20-hour rule. That goes back a long time, 20 hours.
Well, 20 organized hours. Okay. How's that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe some of them are sticking around for the weekend.
Maybe so. Probably so, Hanny.
That would involve some leadership.
I actually would love to hear that story come out.
I would love
to.
I wasn't reporting. I was speculating.
I would love to hear that story come out. Yeah, you know what? They didn't go home. They stayed in the facility and they met on their own. Now, we weren't there because 20-hour rule, but they were there. I'd love to hear that story. It'd be great, actually.
I'll get to work on that. Let us know about that next Tuesday.
I'm not doing anything this week besides playing golf.
He doesn't bring food. He doesn't do any reporting.
That's
he doesn't.
correct.
He doesn't watch the MAC. What do we have you here for? I mean, come on.
No comment.
You got to earn your keep around here at some point. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Right now, if you're in the market for a new home, you may have more purchasing power than you've ever had before. It's very easy to find out. Go and get pre-qualified from GMFSmortgage.com. You'll meet with a local counselor. They'll ask you some questions. They'll run a check on you, and then you'll know exactly how much you have to shop with. They'll be able to lay everything out for you from there all the way to the closing. So if you're in the market for a new home, GMFSmortgage.com is the place that you start. But maybe you don't want to be in a new home. Maybe the home you got is just fine. Well, then a refi might be exactly what you're looking for to free up some cash in the short term by being able to skip a mortgage payment or two, and, of course, able to limit the amount of time of your overall mortgage or to cut your monthly bill. Anyway, it's going to change your life. Do what I did. Do what thousands of others have done, and start your financial journey today. The qualified local counselor at GMFSmortgage.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, It would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll look ahead to the weekend in the SEC with Russ Mitchell of College Football News. Saints getting ready for the Bucs. How's Mike Thomas's hamstring? We're talking about it 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank invite you to nominate someone for a Good Citizen Award. They can receive $500 from Citizens Bank, and we will recognize them live on air. Get all the details at citizensbankandtrust.com and nominate your good citizen.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hey, I answered my own question during the break, Jacob. So what do we have Hunt here for? Okay, I got it. I figured it out during the break. Hunt's been to baseball practice.
Yay!
Yeah,
I could have told you that.
And the Purple and Gold World Series is going on this week. So I'm going to get Hunt's thoughts about that as soon as I get Paul Maneri's thoughts about that.
It's been really a really good fall practice. One of the best we've had since I've been here in terms of being able to see your personnel, get a lot of answers done, and feel good about your team going into the spring. So I think we're going to be a team to be reckoned with. You know, how quickly these freshmen adapt to the college game is going to be a huge storyline on how our season goes. But I think they're unique freshmen. I think they're going to be able to handle it. I really have very little doubt that these guys are going to step in and make a big difference. And I feel very strongly that the combination of having young position players with a veteran pitching staff is a good combination. You know, they're not going to have to score 10 runs a game to be able to win a game when you have such outstanding pitching going out there. And I think that's encouraging and gives us a lot of optimism.
All right, Hunt, who'd you see that you liked?
Some names that people won't know yet that caught my eye when I was out there. One was Ty Floyd. I saw he's a freshman right-handed pitcher. Not a big overpowering guy like the Cole Henrys and Jaden Hills and some of the big physical guys we've seen, but he's got a really good arm. I mean, he was up to 93 when I saw him, and then immediately after he hit 93, he snapped off a 72-mile-an-hour breaking ball, which is 21-mile-an-hour difference. They're certainly not asking the freshman pitchers to come along and be forces at the top of the rotation. They've got that. So where do you fit in? Can you help us if we need a fourth starter on a 4-game series weekend? Are you a midweek guy? Can we count on you in the bullpen with some of the veteran guys? I don't know where Floyd fits in just yet, but he's got a really good arm, and I like the breaking ball.
Dylan Cruz is killing it.
Yeah,
out there.
That's obvious.
Okay, so Dylan Cruz comes in with the type of, I guess, I don't want to call it hype, but the type of reputation that some of the best recruits that they've had come through here in the last,
when you're talking
5
about
or 6 years.
Right, when you're talking about offensive guys and the way they were thought of as juniors in high school and seniors in high school, really the comps are Bregman, but not quite there, and Cabrera was talked about towards the first round as well. He's that type of prospect. Now, there was a lot of swing and miss in his game as a senior in the summer preceding that, and that's very possible, but there's also a ton of bat speed and a ton of power. And you can tell when you go out there, he's not built like your normal freshman that shows up. He's strong, he's stocky, and he can hit it a long way. Right
field, 5-hole. I'll see you in February. Okay, that's pretty much the deal with him. So the guy that maybe I don't want to call him a surprise, but I am surprised at the turn of events here as we go toward the Purple and Gold World Series is Trey Morgan from Brother Martin. He is. They have been so impressed with him at first base. Apparently, Cade Beloso's in the outfield. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But if he's picking it and hitting it well enough, and apparently they really like the defense over there, then that's encouraging. So I want to talk about Morgan first, and then I want to talk about Beloso in the outfield.
Well, let me tell you, I noticed that when I went out there the first time. I went, "What's that? Is that Beloso? What's he doing out there?"
Talk about Morgan first.
I will.
Because,
but I noticed, that's when I see that, I go, well, they've got to have somebody that they think can play first if they're going to move the 2-year first baseman over to the outfield. And so you look at Morgan, he's been really highly regarded out of New Orleans as a hitter. It's a guy that we've heard about for a couple of years. It's a left-handed swing. It's very pretty. I won't tell you that I've seen him hit for 2 weeks. I've seen him a couple of times, and he's an athlete, and they love the way he plays defense at first base. So we'll see how these guys react to seeing 91 miles an hour every time instead of, twice a high school season. But they're seeing a lot of it right now in fall camp, and they obviously think enough of him offensively that he can play the defense. Because you're not going to put you can put somebody at shortstop, catcher, or center field just for defense. You're not going to put somebody at first base just for defense, but it's a nice bonus to have.
So the last time, I want full disclosure here, the last time I physically laid eyes on Cade Beloso was in Houston, Texas at the Minute Maid series. And what I would have told you that day about Cade Beloso may not be true today, but what the Cade Beloso I saw that day did not run well enough to play in the outfield. So I don't know if he's lost some weight. I don't know if he's improved his movement or whatever, but I looked at Cade Beloso and I saw a first baseman. And if he wasn't playing a first base, probably a DH. So tell me that he's faster.
He's faster than you think he is. I still don't want him to play the outfield. Okay. That's not where I would have him playing.
He actually was a pretty decent football player, by the way.
Right.
He's athletic enough. He's faster than guys like Saul Garza and Ty Ross and some of the bigger, more physical bodies.
Those are catchers.
I know, but look at Beloso. He's a big dude.
He's supposed to be faster than the catchers.
He's faster than Matt Clark. And I'm trying to think of some. I would say he's probably on level, maybe a little bit faster than Chinea, but certainly not as. Played Dykeman at first a little bit, and he went to the outfield. He's not that fast.
Yeah, but Dykeman was a shortstop in high school. It just got
he was a corner outfielder. You could see that from a mile away.
Listen,
this I don't see.
If It's okay. I can fix this. It's not a problem. If Trey Morgan is that good a glove and that good a bat that they feel like he is an upgraded first base, Beloso can DH. Fine with that. They want to play him in the outfield for the Purple and Gold World Series. Hey, you got to split the roster. We're fine, but I don't think that he runs well enough to play in the outfield. One more. I never get tired of hearing about Jaden Hill.
4 innings one time and 5 innings one time, and actually pitched better towards the end of his outings than he did at the very beginning, which has been the opposite of the way he's been before. He comes in normally, starts the game, and has very electric stuff, and then there's a little bit of a drop off. His last outing, he struggled a little bit at the beginning, and then by the 5th inning, his velocity was up, his command was up, everything looked better. So, I try not to place too much emphasis in the results in the fall, with guys that you're going to count on and that you're just trying to get them better and get them right for the spring. Jaden has had some really good moments, but he hasn't pitched the way that I know he can pitch on a consistent basis yet. But we did get to stretch him out a little bit, and from a health standpoint, he handled it fine, and that was the most encouraging thing.
So if Jaden Hill is now pitching to where in the 4th or 5th inning of his work that the velocity is at the very least staying static, then you're talking about the maturation of a pitcher, because a year ago they asked him to come in relief. They asked him to go one time through the order, and the last time I laid eyes on him was at Minute Maid Park in Texas.
That was
and
quite
I watched
good.
For 3 innings, he made the Texas Longhorns look silly. For him to transition to that Friday night guy, and to me, he's the biggest key to this team. You have to have a Friday night guy, and he has got Friday night stuff. He's got elite Friday night stuff. He's got top 10 in the draft stuff. He's got to be able to stretch out. He can't just pitch 5 innings at a time. That was what they went through with Hess. Most of the time, Hess could give you. I'm serious. Hess had.
No, I'm not laughing because of that.
Hess had upper level stuff, but he had upper level stuff for 3 to 4 innings, and it was only on the rare occasions that you could stretch him out and get him deep into games. If they're making that move with Hill, then fantastic.
You want to try to avoid comparisons because they rarely are apples to apples. And
Hunt's laughing at me.
No, but the point I was going to make before you said that about Hess is it's what we have to do is compare it to Hess, because their arrival on the scene was the same. It was, oh my God, look at this guy coming out of the pen. This game is over. They're striking everybody out. It's Major League Baseball type stuff. And then you got to try to extend it. And Hess never did. He was a good SEC weekend starter. He was not a Friday night ace at LSU.
No, he was a good SEC relief pitcher who was capable of going through the lineup 1.5 times, and it never stretched out above that.
He had 5 or 6 really nice extended outings. I mean, he went against Georgia, against Texas.
Started 25 games.
Yeah.
I mean, about a quarter of the time, basically. Now, here's the difference I see between them. When Hess came in, Hess was sort of a tweener. They didn't really know if they were going to put him in the bullpen, and he spot started some games in the midweek, but mostly he was out of the bullpen. Hill came here to start. Mm-hmm. He was a starter from the very beginning, and the only reason he was in the bullpen last year is he was coming off the injury. So I think that Hess had it in his mind that he was going to be a relief pitcher, and then you got in all of that draft stuff, and it was like, well, he's got to start. This guy came in to start. They want him to start. The only reason he didn't start was because he had the injury, and now he's ready to start again, and that's going to be your guy.
If his 89th pitch can be 95 miles an hour where he wants it, we're in good shape.
That's it. Finally, Maneri talked about the schedule. This is something that you had mentioned briefly at the end of the show yesterday.
I believe that athletic directors across the country have been 100% focused on getting through this football season. And then I think they've turned their attention to basketball now. And I think we're probably within the next week or so, but they're going to start turning their attention towards the spring sports, including baseball. And I think over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to have more definitive answers about it. But as of right now, our plans are to play the schedule as normal.
And that would include non-conference games, including the first week, which is against Navy, Air Force, and Notre Dame, who are all coming to the box for a series. I'll take it that way. If it's going to be SEC only, I'll take that. I would love to see some more fannies in the seats once we get to the spring. Maybe not at the very beginning of the spring, but that would be my hope. But 14 SEC series would be the mother of all baseball
That would be fun.
I mean, my goodness. I don't know how they would feel about it, but from a fan standpoint,
I'll tell you that I think that football coaches would not necessarily want it because you take out those guaranteed wins. I think the baseball coach would be like, yeah, let's go play. We're going to win some. We're going to lose some. We're really good. We're going to win more than we lose, and it's not going to kill us. We're going to get in the tournament and see what we can do.
I think 4-game series would probably – I think they'd be not quite over the moon about that. Enough coaches have a hard time finding a third starter, much less a fourth one. Even with the expanded rosters, I think that'd be their primary concern. What about 14 weeks at 3 games apiece and just a handful of non-conference games?
So you cut your season by 6 or 7 games. I think we could live with that.
I could definitely live with that. Yeah. Hester, can you live with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
I was trying to think of a comp the whole time to play outfield for LSU like K-Below. So while y'all were talking shop, Bo Jordan?
Yeah.
And Bo Jordan was a very good DH. I mean, he was a below average outfielder.
It worked well enough, I feel. Did you feel like it was a liability?
Yes. Defensively, yes, absolutely.
When you look at some of the outfields they put out there, when you got Stevenson, Laird, and Foster.
Jared Foster.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Ma took Landry and Mitchell.
I'll take that one.
We'll take a break. Kat Terrell with us a little bit later in hour number 2. We'll talk Saints with Kat. Is hanging with Hester and Hanny and Hunt, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Making any improvements to your property before you dig, please call 811. I implore you, don't cause problems for yourself. Don't cause problems for your neighbor. Don't put yourself in a position where you could be hurt, because here in Louisiana, there's so many lines that are buried right beneath the surface. If you dig without calling, you're liable to hit one of them. You do that, it's going to be a power outage. It's going to be a water event in your backyard. That's a fancy way of saying flood.
Yep.
And any of those things are bad. Plus, it's against the law. So just call 811.
That's exactly right. Call or click. Remember, you can dial 811. Incredibly easy. You can also go to Louisiana811.com. So multiple ways to do this. There's no excuse for it because it's free to you. It's the law. And by the way, yes, again, they do all the work. They come and mark all of the lines so you know exactly what you can dig and what you cannot dig. So make sure, again, dial 811, Louisiana811.com. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In and eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
On Game Time tonight from Louis Cafe. That's right, for 80 years. Breakfast and lunch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just outside the north gates of LSU. Election, Maction. Tonight, Game Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
You watching a little MAC action tonight? We get a little Coors Light. Get a little Coors Light for your Maction. You got 6 games tonight, Hester. I mean, come on, man.
You know I will have it. As I tell y'all all the time, nice way to relax. So going to have a little bit of a stressor there. Going to have the Irish football game, but I'm going to come home, relax, and just chill with a cold Coors Light after the game.
Well, you know, it's cold, crisp, refreshing, and you know, not just that, but the Blue Moon Light Sky citrus wheat, and you know, it's just a little bit light. It's got a little bit of a citrus flavor to it. The official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, Coors Light, and Blue Moon Light Sky. And, of course, also for those of you that are looking for something a little bit different, the Vizzy Hard Seltzer now out in multiple variety packs, black cherry, pineapple mango, blueberry pomegranate, strawberry kiwi. We've been working on some recipes, been doing some research, been in the lab.
Yeah.
Okay. And
R&R.
We're working on some recipes with our Vizzy Hard Seltzer that I think you're going to like. Only 100 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and certified gluten-free. So make it a good one tonight if you're enjoying some MAC football tonight or any of the football tomorrow night or Friday night. We've got a very nice schedule. Do it with the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, Coors Light. You watching the action tonight? Or you just...
I probably won't watch the MAC. I've talked to Hester about this. If it's just mediocre football, it's just not right up my alley. I got a pack for the weekend and the week tonight.
Oh, where you going?
Wait a minute.
Well, I got business. I have business in Shreveport tomorrow. Business in Shreveport.
Pack.
I have an 11:30 meeting in Shreveport tomorrow. That's an early wake up call.
How long are you going to Shreveport for?
I will be in Shreveport on Thursday. I'm leaving Shreveport on Friday morning.
How long does it take you to pack for a day?
Well, I'm going to Ruston, and then I'm going to El Dorado, and then I'm going back to Ruston.
Is
then I'm
this
going
your
to Homer.
bachelor party
It
weekend? You know, so we didn't get an invite, Jacob?
It's fine. Hunt
We-
doesn't
Y'all are
invite me
watching
to
the
anything.
MAC. Don't worry about it.
Hunt doesn't invite me to anything. It's fine. We asked him, Hunt, we've been doing the show together for 3 years. We used to do the LSU pre- and post-game show together. He's like, yeah, you're not getting invited to the wedding. It's like, oh, okay.
I didn't get very many invites to the wedding.
It's
fine.
okay. It's all
Yeah.
right. It's
That means you're not getting a gift either, Hunt. You don't bring us pizza. You don't invite us to the wedding. You don't
owe
get
me
a
a
gift.
steak.
No gravy.
No.
Oh.
No. If
Whoa.
anybody owes a steak here, and Doe's is like right there, and you still haven't paid up.
You're not going to win another one.
The 49ers have shut down their facility because of a positive COVID test this morning. I'm bringing this up because we're talking about schedule the rest of the week, and they are scheduled to play in the Thursday night game against the Green Bay Packers. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough year for San Francisco coming off of the Super Bowl. Multiple injuries on the defensive line. Now George Kittle out basically for the year. Jimmy Garoppolo out basically for the year. And one of their wide receivers, Kendrick Bourne, tested positive. So while they're still expecting the game to go on as scheduled, they have acknowledged a positive test. They have entered the league's intensive protocol. Every time we think we're, starting to really, get onto a normal schedule, you get a few more of these. The Broncos have another player on the COVID list. They have canceled practice as well. So you're just going to have to continue to deal with a few more of these cancellations, shutdowns, what have you. But for the moment, the game goes on between Green Bay and San Francisco. And all 6 games in the MAC, all running on time, all scheduled on time. The MAC is not exactly the most financially lucrative league, I would say, in all of college football. So they made it work. Good for them. Kat Terrell, when we come back, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, Executive Chef Michael Johnson answers all of your Munchies questions. We preview the biggest college games on the slate, and we continue to dive deep into the big one, Saints Bucks Sunday Night Football. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Kat Terrell joins us from The Athletic. Talk a little bit about the Saints. Kat, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. I'm going to start you with a real easy one. Name the top 3 receivers for the Saints on the game Sunday night. Okay, maybe not that easy.
Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, and then Taysom was probably no.
See, now you're cheating. Now you're cheating.
Oh, you actually want the receivers? Oh, man, I don't know if I can tell you that. I feel like all they did was throw Salvin. But hey, whatever works for them. But now you have to tell me. I don't know. Who was the leading receiver?
Yeah, well, okay, so that was my creative way of asking you what wide receivers are going to be healthy for the game on Sunday.
I figured it was a segue. I just messed it up for you.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to get a handle on Michael Thomas and/or Emmanuel Sanders and/or Marquez Callaway.
I think they're all going to be back this week. That's my guess. I've been saying that since Sunday. I think this is the week that they all come back, and then on the other side, Antonio Brown's going to play. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be great.
Hey, I wanted to ask you actually about Antonio Brown because as we're sitting here in studio, they're already showing him on the TV. We've been in here about 2.5 hours, and he's been on the TV for about an hour of the 2 hours that we've been in here. So what do you think the game plan is for the Buccaneers to use him this week? I mean, I know him and Tom Brady have worked out together. They've been on the Patriots a short period of time. Do you think they're going to insert him and let him really get out there and play maybe 15, 20 snaps?
I just had this feeling he's not going to be as big in the game plan as people think. Just because he's been around for a week? It feels like longer than a week considering the week everyone's had in Louisiana. I can't even remember anymore, but I'd be surprised if he played a huge role. I mean, he hasn't played in forever, but 15 snaps probably sounds about right. It'll be interesting. That's why I'm so interested. Like, how much is he going to play? How much could Michael Thomas theoretically play after not playing since week 1? It kind of makes me wonder if we're going to overhype these 2 receivers coming back, and then the leading receiver for the Saints ends up being like Austin Carr or something.
Kat, the move to bring in Quan Alexander earlier this week, I know he's not going to play in this game against Tampa Bay, but where do you see his fit in this defense?
Well, Peyton already kind of flat out said it. He's going to compete with Alex Anzalone, and to me, that means he's going to be the starter there. I just can't imagine they try to make a move mid-season to have him be a backup. But, I mean, I know that people I've talked to, I know they're really excited about this, and they feel like they've made the linebacker room better. And I think that his ability in pass coverage is a big asset. I mean, the Saints have a lot of problems on defense, and they're really not linebacker problems. So it'll be interesting to see if they, try to move him around or something. I don't know how you help the secondary, but I'm intrigued to see if Alexander ends up almost immediately playing a huge role. I kind of think that's what the Saints envision.
Kat, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson situation last week where Wims and him, they absolutely have a moment that took everybody's eye because you just don't see that on a football field very often. And obviously we know, the situation he had with Michael Thomas. Have you heard anything was there a back history? And I'm kind of joking, but kind of not. I know that he played at Florida and the receiver for the Bears played at Georgia. I mean, is that something that maybe went back a couple of years?
That's a great question. Someone else asked me that. I am writing about CJ at some point this week or next week, and I haven't quite gotten to that yet. But I do think that CJ is probably a lot like Jalen Ramsey in that he just talks and talks and talks and gets under people's skin. I mean, I don't know if there is any history, but I mean, I remember when Ramsey was facing AJ Green when I covered the Bengals. They're playing a couple of years back, and I don't think those two knew each other at all. They ended up AJ punched him. I mean, you just don't see that, and I think that some of these guys just have this ability just to get under people's skin to the point where they just can't take it anymore. And yeah, I mean, I think it's actually kind of like a rare asset. I wish CJ would have expanded on it more when we asked him about it, but the ability to drive the guy on the other side crazy is kind of like a talent. And I know CJ definitely has that ability because he never stops talking.
Kat Terrell is our guest from The Athletic. Kat, what do you remember about standing out in the first game between these two teams, and how much different do you think either one of them is now?
Well, I remember Kamara actually didn't have many rushing yards. He was really used primarily in the passing game. He was not effective as a running back, which obviously has changed. Michael Thomas had 3 catches for, I think 17 yards. I mean, he was not a factor at all. Neither quarterback really had a large number of passing yards. They were both in the 200s. The Saints were able to bait Brady into some mistakes. I think he threw 2 picks. But you got the sense when they played that it wasn't going to be like that the next time around. And I do believe that. I think that these teams have been through so much since they first met that they're really different teams at this point. But I think that we were all right in the fact that when we watched that game, it was kind of like, okay, these two teams are going to be the top contenders in the NFC South. And the next game down the line is going to be really important. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, this is one of the most important games of the Saints season here, especially since the Niners aren't any good like we had expected them to be. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to it, especially if this is the last time we get Brady versus Breeze.
Kat, any update on Sheldon Rankins? I know he had a mild MCL sprain during the game last week. Obviously, a big part of what the Saints want to do defensively. Anything there?
He's expected to be out, I think, at least 3 weeks. I know that there was kind of a big sigh of relief that it wasn't worse because I heard that when he got hurt, he was on the field like screaming, and he didn't even do that when he tore his Achilles. So it was probably incredibly painful. Maybe that's why the announcers kind of, I don't know if you saw the broadcast, but the announcers made it sound like it was just this gruesome injury and, they weren't going to show it because it was too bad. And then he walked off the field, and you're kind of left scratching your head thinking, okay, is this like a situation where he has an ACL tear and he could still walk off? But it's not great, but I think in light of all of that, it's best case scenario. Unfortunately, Rankins just has really bad injury luck, and it's super unfortunate for him because I think he was starting to get better each week.
Kat, we appreciate your time. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. We'll enjoy Saints and Bucks on Sunday Night Football. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Kat Terrell from The Athletic. What are you expecting out of Antonio Brown?
Really don't know. I think that he has a good relationship with Tom Brady. Brady's the reason he's there, obviously. So I think they know what to expect from each other, but how much has he picked up of the offense? Because just because you have a rapport with the quarterback, there's small parts of the game plan where the verbiage is different. You might have run that route 1,000 times. In fact, you probably have, but they call it something a little bit different, and is a little bit different depending on the coverage. Small situations that even the most veteran player takes a couple of weeks to get up to speed.
Maybe I'm being paranoid, but I'm remembering 2 games. Number one, the game that he played for the Patriots. The one game he played for the Patriots, he caught a touchdown pass, and I want to say he had 4 or 5 catches in that game. So he got up to speed very quickly.
Arians' offense is complex as well. It's a little bit different than Josh McDaniels with New England.
But we're talking talking about a vet here.
Yeah,
I mean,
you are.
you guys been
He's
around
going
a
to give
while.
you something.
Yeah.
He's going to give you something, but it's not going to obviously be his peak.
But how long can you keep him happy? Like, until what do you have to do to keep him happy before he throws a fit?
Oh, this isn't a long-term thing. This is Sunday. We were just talking about Sunday right now. The other game I keep thinking about is the last time the Steelers came to the Superdome with him, and he turned Marshawn Lattimore around like a top all afternoon long. Now, that was 2 years ago, but still.
He plays 15 to 20 plays in this game, and I would bet you 12 of the routes that he might run are deep routes.
He's going to catch a touchdown pass. That's my prediction. He will at least catch a touchdown pass on Sunday. Hunt, tell us about the food you didn't bring us for lunch today.
No pizza for y'all, but you can get some after the show if you want, right down the street. Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus at Hungry Howie's, home of the Flavor Crust Pizza. Get your phone out and put these promo codes in if you want great deals. One Howie roll, get one free. The code 25003. That's 25003. Plug that into your phone. You buy a Howie roll, you get one free with that promo code. If you want the deep dish twofer, you can get a large deep dish one topping pizza and a deep dish 3 cheeser bread, just $15.99. That promo code is 26003. Again, 26003 is your promo code there. Make Hungry Howie's part of your dinner plans tonight. You're going to watch some dinner plans this weekend. Hungry Howie's, home of that delicious flavored crust pizza.
Enjoy your trip. Enjoy your golf. Enjoy your weekend off. Safe travels. We'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. See y'all.
Peter Burns in the next hour. We'll also do NFL True or False and Ask Us, all in hour number 3. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Hello.
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up.
Hey, Greg. Roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet. And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Trahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting the 49ers shut down their facility after receiver Kendrick Bourne tested positive for COVID-19. The league's current plan is to play tomorrow night's Packers-Niners game is scheduled in San Francisco. That plan, though, is fluid, pending contact tracing and further information. Cowboys will start either Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush Sunday against the Steelers. Receiver Antonio Brown on the practice field for the first time with the Buccaneers today. His addition puts Tampa Bay's offense on a whole other level, notes ESPN's David Pollack.
Put Antonio Brown on the other side, and now Rob Gronkowski in the middle to work the field. Dude, I mean, Tom Brady's going to be very happy. His ability to go through his progressions and make this, I mean, goodness gracious, this offense is going to go from a really good offense that we really like them to a championship-level offense immediately.
Brown will make his Bucs debut Sunday night versus the Saints. Free agent righty Trevor Bauer rejected the Reds' nearly $19 million qualifying offer for 2021. He does remain open to discussing return to Cincinnati and speaking to other interested teams through free agency. He's ranked by ESPN as the top overall pitcher in free agency.
An NFC Championship game rematch on Thursday Night Football. For one team is much different, and for the other, things are the same. Why don't the Packers give Aaron Rodgers some weapons? Thursday, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 3. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Cade Wazee on the audio board. Paul O'Neill on the video board. And we appreciate you being with us, whether you're listening up in Shreveport, 1130 The Tiger. If you're watching along with us on CST or YouTube on our 104.5 or Hanging with Hester and Hanny page, along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Peter Burns with us in about 15 minutes. In the meantime, let's play some NFL True or False. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. General Manager Andrew Berry of the Cleveland Browns says Baker Mayfield has done a nice job. True or false? Baker Mayfield has done a nice job.
Nice to me means okay. Like if you tell your wife, oh, you look nice, it's kind of like, oh, you look fine, instead of like great or outstanding.
I think you have nailed the definition of nice. Yes. Okay. So Baker Mayfield has done a nice job. Let me run you some statistics, okay? He has completed 61% of his passes, 1,514 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Yeah. His QBR is 12th in the league, and the Cleveland Browns are 5-3.
True.
Yeah, I think it's all the definition of nice.
Yeah.
And if Baker Mayfield had been drafted in the 3rd round or even the 2nd round, we might feel a little bit differently about it. But that kind of, when I read it, I didn't hear it. So I almost wanted to hear tone, because it's kind of like what you're saying. Is how's that? It's nice.
Yeah.
Or nice job. Or, and is nice job a sarcasm, or is it, man, nice job. Isn't tone everything
it
here
is.
when
That's
you
why when people
call-
get mad at text messages, I'm like, you don't know the tone of that message.
Yeah, we used to say that in the huddle and in the chat. It's like I need a sarcasm font because
you do.
Sometimes I get really aggravated. Like, how could you say something that's like, dude, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell that stuff.
Need
Right
like
here.
shift, slant, font, maybe like
Italics. Can we get an
Yeah.
italics? Bold type.
There you go.
So one of those things. All right.
But when you look at that franchise, they've had historically bad quarterback play since they've come back as a franchise. We all seen the jersey with the tape on it and all the different names. So, yeah, I think he's doing a nice job.
Compared to that, this is nice.
I mean, think about some of the other top picks, that are playing the same position. I mean, there's some that are worse. There's a couple that are better. I mean, he's kind of a little bit above the middle of the road.
He's playing better than Daniel Jones.
Yes.
He's playing better than Sam Darnold.
Yes. And
playing way better than Josh
I was
Rosen.
about to say way better than Free.
Okay. Jets and Patriots on Monday Night Football. True or false? This is the worst game in the National Football League this year. Think before you answer because there's a whole NFC East to consider here. But
the game on Sunday night, I think, is going to have the. God, there's been some bad. There's been Giants, Cowboys. There's been Eagles, Cowboys, and I realize why you play the
Dallas plays
Cowboys
Washington again
because it's the Cowboys, and they have a big following, obviously. But no, any NFC East game is going to be the worst.
Jets are really bad now. Jets are the worst team in the league. My question was, I guess, more about the Patriots and how far have they sunk because they're not going to make the playoffs.
Right.
And you have to ask, is this going to be a complete rebuild? Or are they going to go and make a move to try to draft a quarterback? It's been a long time since this franchise and this coach and this owner were in anything resembling this position. And I think they're closer to the Jets than they are to the Dolphins. We're talking AFC East right here. Right this second.
How do you think Tom Brady feels about this right
Vindicated.
now? Because, yeah, for sure, because he's as competitive as a person as you'll find. I mean, that's when he retires, when all said, even if he plays 2 more years in Tampa and he wins the Super Bowl, when he retires, he's a Patriot.
And
right? But right now,
and it's
hard
not
to look past that.
it's not because of the career. It's because of this offseason. That this offseason, when he was sitting around, cooped up in the house, COVID, restrictions, where I don't know how much of this stuff he listened to. He doesn't have to listen to any of it. But what was stuck for topics in sports talk radio with no sports to take a look at? So it was, who was more important, Brady or Belichick? When we know that it was a combination of the two. So from that standpoint, a little bit vindicated and more than a little smart, I think he feels, that he was able to look at it and go, man, I got to get the hell out of here. This roster is not going to get there. All right, true or false, the winner of Ravens and Colts on Sunday is the 3rd best team in the AFC. We're putting Pittsburgh and Kansas City in some order in the top 2. So is this team the next best?
I'll say false because I'm in the minority here, but I still feel pretty confident in Buffalo's abilities. If Buffalo's fully healthy and they have their entire squad, I think they can have a real conversation of being towards the top. And you start looking at the AFC, there's some top-heavy teams, the Colts, the Titans, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bills, as I just mentioned, and, of course, the Chiefs. I mean, there's a group of teams right there underneath the Chiefs and underneath the Steelers that are really good football teams.
How would you have felt if the Ravens had beaten the Steelers? How big of a swing game in your head was that? Because going in, pretty much everybody thought they were even.
Right.
The Ravens had a home field plus maybe a point advantage in the spread.
I think the Ravens are a hell of a football team. I mean, nobody can come on here and deny that, but they have holes that are glaring holes to me when it gets crunch time in the postseason. Right? When your quarterback comes out and says that the Chiefs are a kryptonite, that's not good. That's not something that you want to hear because you know the Chiefs are going to be there in the end. And then you go and lose a game against a team that you pretty much are like looking in the mirror. Like you try to do things the same way. And I know it was a close game, but you lost that game. So right now Baltimore is in a very weird place of being maybe one of the 4 best teams in all of the NFL, but you have some bugaboos that you can't get over right now.
I was happy when they expanded the playoffs. I think another game on Wild Card Weekend is fine. You give me more playoff football, and I'm going to take it. But for just this season, I feel like there's a drop-off that if I could just have the top 6 teams in the AFC, man, they've all got a chance. They've all got a case to be made that they could make the Super Bowl. Steelers, Chiefs, Bills, Titans, Ravens, Colts, and who's 7? The Cleveland Browns. And there's a pretty big drop-off, in my opinion. And I say that having watched the Cleveland Browns beat the Indianapolis Colts, but that was a month ago.
Anytime that I bring up the Bills, you don't really tend to agree with me.
I like the Bills. I think the Bills are a year away.
Okay.
Not a year away from making the playoffs. I think they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make the
year
playoffs.
Away from being a true
Super Bowl
contender.
Yeah. Yes. I want to see one more year of roster development. They're on the right track. I like everything about them, but I think they're just a little bit they're a little bit short. Okay. I feel a lot about them like I feel about the Arizona Cardinals. That the Arizona Cardinals are a playoff team, but they're a year away from being remember I told you that early in the week, I don't want to play Arizona.
Right.
Because they can get in there and Kyler Murray can go nuts and they can have Hopkins can have that one big game and all of a sudden you get into one of those shootouts like that year they played Green Bay and Rodgers had to throw the Hail Mary and all that stuff and they can get you. But I don't think first-time playoff quarterback, first-time playoff coach that they can put 3 victories together. They get you once. I kind of feel the same way about Buffalo.
You know what I think both these teams are missing is a really solid home run hitting running back.
Well, that's for sure true.
I think they're both missing that. And Drake is a guy
he's the best running back on either team, but
he has the ability to do it, but he's not doing it so far this year. The Bills have a trio of running backs that they'll roll out there, but none of them, to me, strike fear in you. Now, both quarterbacks can run at a very high level, and that's saving you in a lot of these games. And the fact that they're picking up some rushing yards, if Buffalo had, if they had a top 10 running back in the NFL, I think this team is completely different because Diggs and Beasley and Brown at receiver, they've been great. Josh Allen has been really good pushing the ball down the field. I think Buffalo's defense is a very underrated defense, and they've been beat up. And when they get fully healthy, they're a true playoff contending defense. They're missing the guy at the running back position that can change the game by himself.
One more. The loser of the Giants-Washington game on Sunday will be the new home for Josh Fields. If the Giants lose the game, they will have the second worst record in football. If Washington loses, they'll be in a pack of teams that are all sort of in contention.
I'll say false, and the only reason I'm going to say false is because I don't think the Jaguars are going to win another game, and I think that the Giants, because they play in the NFC least, could pick up a potential victory. That's the thing. So when you look at the Giants and Dallas and Washington, you're trying to find a way to get a good quarterback. Y'all are so bad. Even the team leading the division is so bad, and the Eagles, you're probably going to get a couple more victories. Where when you look at Jacksonville, I don't know if Jacksonville is going to get another victory because the Colts and the Titans are really good. The Texans have the talent, and they've lost a lot of close games. And you look at the Jaguars' remaining schedule, Texans at Green Bay, the Steelers, the Browns at Minnesota, the Titans at the Ravens, the Bears, and the Colts.
Makes you wonder how in the hell they won that game to open the
against
season.
The Colts. My gosh. That was my survivor pick.
If Trevor Lawrence ends up in New York and the Jaguars end up with Fields or Lance and Fields or Lance isn't as good as Lawrence, they're going to spend the rest of their lives blaming Phillip Rivers for throwing those interceptions in the opener.
So Jake Luton is starting for the Jaguars this week. Can anybody in the room tell me where he played college football?
Jake Luton played at Colorado State, right?
Okay. Cade, you want to take a guess?
Take it, mine was wrong.
Purdue.
Okay, Paul, you want to take a guess?
Random college coming up.
No. I'll go Memphis.
That's what I did.
He was a Beaver, Oregon State.
That would have been my third guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I was right there.
You were
So
closest
tip of my tongue.
on the
Sure.
map, and you
Mhm.
had a state in there. They are doing everything they can, in my opinion, to get Trevor Lawrence.
Do they only scout the Pac-12 for quarterbacks, or is it just kind of work that way?
They're hoping that somehow, some way, the Jets stumble into a victory so they can continue.
Uwe Ongalele.
Uwe Ongalele.
NFL True or False is brought to you by Supreme Rice. SupremeRice.com for a delicious complement to any meal. For all of your jambalayas, all of your rice and gravy, all of your red beans or white beans and rice, all of your gumbo coming up, make it Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers out of Crowley, Louisiana. Down in Southwest Louisiana, all of your Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed right there in Southwest Louisiana. So support our Louisiana farmers and add Supreme Rice. It's so easy to do. You can get it at all of your Walmarts, all your Costco's, all of your AG food dealers. And whether it be the long grain, the brown, or the jasmine, you can get it in the 5-pound bags right now. Stretch your food dollar as well with delicious Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. Peter Burns, when we come back, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Richard Honda. Of course, you can find them online at richardhonda.com, where you can do it all. In the bottom left corner, it tells you how long you have left to save in the trade-in, trade-up event. In the bottom right corner, have a chat with sales. You always find the warm, fuzzy promise right there on the homepage of the website. But something they've added in the last couple of weeks, that buy-from-home option. 7-step process. You pick which vehicles that you want to check out. You select all the options. You fill out just a little bit of information. Then you compare the vehicles. You find the perfect one for you that fits your needs and your family's needs. And then, oh yeah, they'll deliver that vehicle to you. It's an incredibly easy process right there on the homepage of richardshonda.com. We always encourage you, though, go check them out at 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. That's I-12 and Millerville, because no matter what you are looking for, they've got you covered. Cars, hybrids, midsize and full-size SUVs, the Odyssey minivan, the Ridgeline truck. No matter what your needs are, they'll be met over at Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
From the makers of Blue Moon comes Light Sky. An extraordinary citrus sweet brewed with real tangerine peel, only 95 calories. Welcome to the light side of the moon.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 20.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll look ahead to the weekend in the SEC with Russ Mitchell of College Football News. Saints getting ready for the Bucs. How's Mike Thomas's hamstring? We're talking about it 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Bring in our friend Peter Burns from the SEC Network. Peter, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm trying to figure out how I can learn how to work touchscreens as good as these guys in the election on the cable companies last night. Between like Fox News and John King over at CNN, man, those guys are damn wizards. Like, I thought I was pretty good at the touchscreen, but these guys are incredible.
They never hit the wrong button. I mean, they always seem to hit the right button. I know when I'm like breaking down film or I'm trying to do something, my fat hands always hit the wrong button. So it's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's amazing too is that they'll go in. They're like, there's John Hester who lives in Maricopa County, Phoenix, and he's like, I mean, like they know every single like thing about what happened like in 1984. I'm just like, my goodness. I guess that's how we are in sports talk radio as well too. Like knowing that much about SEC football for the most part, right?
So Peter, you had your election day initiatives in the SEC. The 8, 9, or 10 games. Let's go through. There's 3 of them. So it was 8, 9, or 10 game schedule, and the last I looked, the 9-game schedule won out. Is that how it finished?
Yeah, it appears, unless there is a recount here on ballot initiative 1 of the SEC this morning election, that's correct. It was a little bit of an upset. It was 21% of the people said 8-game SEC schedule, 47% said 9-game SEC schedule, and 32% said keep it how it is right this 10-game SEC schedule. I kind of was surprised. I mean, again, I know that it's nicer to have only SEC versus SEC games, but I think even if we're learning that in Baton Rouge right now, it'd also be nice to have 1 or 2 different opponents that you can kind of get right and get your squad on the same page as opposed to having to do it against a good quality SEC squad.
As much complaining as the schools do now, and by the schools I mean those not named Alabama and Tennessee, about the SEC schedules, wouldn't the imbalance, 5 home games in 1 year, 4 in the next, wouldn't it be a deal breaker if this ever came to a vote?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why you can't do something like that, and you're not going to have enough neutral site games to where it would work for everybody. So yeah, I don't think 9 games would work. However, I would eventually like to get to a point where it's an 8-game schedule, but instead of the divisions, what you end up doing is having it set up to where you play 3 permanent rivals. So let's say that's Alabama, Florida, and Auburn for LSU, and then you rotate the other 10 schools every other year. So you'd have those 3 that you play every single year, and then in even years you'd play these 5 schools, and then on odd years you play the other 5 schools. I'd love to see something like that, but I don't know if that's in the works anytime soon.
Did you say that if they went to an 8-game schedule and had 3 permanent opponents, that LSU's 3 would be Alabama, Auburn, and Florida? Mr. Woodward would like a word with you, and a 4-letter word probably with you. You better throw Mississippi State in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know who that would have been. Maybe it's Ole Miss at some point. I mean, again, there's ebbs and flows, but I mean, you think of Tennessee. Tennessee looks at it right now, and every year they're like, "Damn, we got to play Alabama." And same thing with Auburn sitting there going, "All right, we got Georgia." I mean, it's obviously, it's not apples to apples, and there's no real easy way to do it. And I think that's why they'll probably just keep it the way it's an 8-game schedule right now. The other ballot initiative, though, was Missouri, flipping Missouri and Auburn, flip Missouri to the SEC West and Auburn to the SEC East. And 65% of the voters on my show said yes, make that Auburn-Missouri flip.
That one actually makes a lot of sense. And I know there's some historical ties, but when you look at how close Auburn and Georgia are, Auburn's the closest school to Florida. That one makes much more sense for travel, and obviously not only football, but other sports as well. I wouldn't mind trading Mizzou and Auburn. I mean, that's something that potentially I think could happen. Isn't Auburn kind of for that?
No, I don't think Auburn would necessarily, be upset with it. Listen, I don't know anybody who wants to play in the SEC West. Seriously, now that Lane's going to get this offense rolling. As much as people want to make fun of Mike Leach and how it's bad, it was bad the first year he was in Lubbock. It was bad the first year he was up in Pullman for Washington State, and it's horrible right now outside of the LSU game. But it'll come together sooner or later once he gets the guys that run his system. So. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to get out of the SEC West. It's the toughest damn division in all of college football.
The one thing I like about that is an Auburn-Mizzou flip would be a harbinger to schedule realignment because Alabama's going to insist that they play both Auburn and Tennessee every year, and so then you do get into multiple permanent opponents. So I'm all for it because it would change up the rotations everywhere else. So. I do like that one. The last one was expand to 16 teams or keep it at 14 teams. Keep it at 14 won big, but Hester and I were discussing yesterday who you add. We had our ideas. If you did go to 16, who would you add?
I mean, you go biggest and best, and I mean, to me, the ones that I would take would be Texas right off the bat, and I'd probably take Oklahoma. Although it's tough to get Oklahoma without Oklahoma State just because of the way the politics work at that point. But that's only if the Big 12 kind of fell apart. But those would probably be the two that I would take. I mean, outside of that, I don't see Clemson. Clemson never is going to leave ACC because of how easy they have it now in that cakewalk. And I don't know any other teams that would really kind of fit the brand of the SEC. I mean, who did you guys think?
Well, it's like you're listening to our show.
Yeah,
there you go. I mean,
we had Oklahoma and Texas. The opposition to adding the other ACC teams from the existing state mates. Florida's objection to Florida State, South Carolina's objection to Clemson, Georgia's objection to Georgia Tech, Louisville's objection to Kentucky's objection to Louisville. Got with all of that. All right, Peter, what say you on Georgia, Florida this weekend, the cocktail party?
I just like Florida, guys. I mean, I look at Florida this year as being like a diet version of LSU last year, right? Where the defense wasn't going to be world beaters, but offensively they're going to score just a bajillion points, and that's not the type of fight that Georgia can get in. They're a good, solid team, but they can't put up with this, putting up 40 points a game. And I think between how good Trask has been, and how unstoppable Kadarius Toney has been the last couple of weeks, they have found him out and found really how to utilize him. Plus, Georgia, Richard LeCount probably not going to play. They're banged up. To me, this feels like not only a Florida win, but a double-digit win for the Gators coming up, because I think they do actually give Bama a better run for their money than Georgia would in a rematch.
I don't think there's any question. I think if you're an Alabama fan, you should be rooting for Georgia in this game because there's not a model that Georgia can roll out there and beat you. There's just not, right? You're not going to have Stetson Bennett go over the top and beat you. Now, Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts, they can do that. They can put fear in you. And it looks like those 21 days off for them, Peter, got Todd Grantham on the same page with his defense. It might not be the best one that he's ever had, but with that offense, it's just got to be good enough to be able to get where they want to go.
I mean, isn't that what we said about Aranda's defense last year?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was just like right after the Ole Miss game going, listen, yeah, there are issues, but how are you going to stop it? I mean, it's a race to 50 to stop Burrow in this offense, and I don't know if they're as good and as dynamic as LSU was last year, but they're pretty damn close. And I mean, you go look at it, Alabama had their hands full with Ole Miss, and I think Florida's defense is a whole lot better than Ole Miss's defense right now. So, I mean, I think that's how I see that one playing out right now. And unless Dan Mullen does something to screw it up, and there's no telling with the 4 year he's kind of put his foot in his mouth a couple times lately.
Peter Burns, we appreciate your time. As always, enjoy the football weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later, boys.
All right, Peter Burns from the SEC Network. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Garcia Roofing. We tell you all the time, this is someone that you can trust. There's no gimmicks with Garcia Roofing. That free roof inspection, well, they mean free. They're going to come out and they're going to tell you exactly what you need. So if you think you might have a problem, we've had some bad weather lately. Well, they're going to come out and they're going to give you a free roof inspection. They're going to give you a list of exactly what you need. If you do need that work, they're going to give you pictures and show you exactly where that work is going to take place. That's why they can throw out the Garcia guarantee, Hanny, to make sure you're getting the best work possible.
And just because they are the largest residential roofing company in South Louisiana does not mean there are any jobs that are too small for Garcia Roofing. So give them a call. Your trusted home improvement experts in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, and on the North Shore. Roof now and pay later. Call 756-3100, 225-756-3100, or online. It's GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast.
On Game Time tonight from Louis Cafe. That's right, for 80 years, breakfast and lunch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just outside the north gates of LSU. Election? Action. Tonight, Game Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
All right, we've got Dr. Etheridge back for his Wednesday spot. I think we missed 1 week, and it didn't feel right because normally when you come in here, there's like breaking news or something happens crazy in the college football world. So we're glad to have you back. And we're also kind of glad to have you back when there's not like some giant disaster going on in college football.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling. Yeah, gone last week. We had the storm, and it was my son's fall break, so a couple reasons. But we're back.
Also, before we get to it, I know Brock's got an event that we've been talking about, the Brock Rock and Wine. That's coming up this Saturday. I'll be there. Moscona said he might be there. You can never count on that Moscona guy, but I'm looking forward to this event always. Y'all do a great job for the foundation every year.
Yeah, it's a great event. It's 6 o'clock at Audi. If y'all want to come, it's at brortho.com. You can get more information. We'll have live music. We'll have food. We'll have a lot of drinks. It's a really fun event. You know, this is the second year we've done it. And 100% of the proceeds are going to our nonprofit foundation, which supports a lot of the local sports, and in particular the medical side of the local sports, which probably more need right now than ever.
You can find more information about the Brock Rock and Wine at brortho.com. And Hanny, I want to start here with Dr. Etheridge. When you're trying to figure out if a player can play, and I know we got to be careful here, when you're trying to figure out if a player can play, you've got a couple of extra days to be able to do that. Is that just a complete team effort of doctors and, you know, people that are there every day and seeing them as far as trainers and the coaching staff? You kind of take it day by day and you give an update maybe at the end of every day when you're trying to get someone back. Is there a process where you have that communication?
Yeah, there really is. At least that's the situation you hope you have. You know, if we're talking about medical here for LSU or universities like us, it is a team process with most injuries. You have your athletic trainers who are kind of the boots on the ground. They're there every day.
Right.
They're doing the rehab. You have the medical doctors. You know, we have at least one of us out there, if not multiple, every day. And then sometimes if we have a subspecialist, maybe it's a specific injury, we might have to kind of coordinate with whoever that might be. And it really is. It's a multidisciplinary approach. We evaluate day after day. And sometimes, you hear these game time decisions. It really is. Usually we have an idea as we get closer and closer to game day where they're going to be. But it's a big process, and we're fortunate that we have lots of good resources.
If someone, I'm asking for a friend, had an abdominal injury and went out to throw a football, if they didn't feel pain right then, might they feel pain a day later or more than a day later? Or if you get through that first period of you tell me how long, are you kind of out of the woods?
So, yeah, with that kind of injury, I think the most important thing is the two things you hit. First, how do you feel when we're doing whatever exercise it is? And that's really any soft tissue injury especially. So you'll go out there, you'll exercise, you'll run, you'll throw. We'll see what you can tolerate. Obviously you got to be able to play. You got to be able to protect yourself. And if you can do those things, you can show us those things without any restrictions, hesitation, or significant pain. It is also important, though, because you might feel great, and then later on that day or the next day, it may flare back up. Usually it's a 24-hour window with these soft tissues. You're going to know. So, for example, if we had somebody exercise today, we'd probably know tomorrow, assuming that all went well today. But there's always that exception. You do see those where they look good 2 or 3 days in a row and something happens. But the reality of those types of injuries, that's why, soft tissue is the toughest thing.
Yeah.
That's really where this, this team approach comes in. And, I think we may have talked about it. It's really where the art of medicine comes in. It's not perfect. It's not a black and white, and it's tough sometimes.
What's the scale up or the scale back, right? You talk to the player, he's like, I'm feeling really good. Is it, 25% scale up? Is there a certain number you have? And when this player says, man, you know what? I kind of felt it a little bit today. Do you take him back, or you try to just do the same thing and don't accelerate, forward?
I think it all does depend. It's not a, hey, we're going to go up by 10% or 25%. Yeah. It's you got to know your athletes. You got to, and that's where, again, the athletic trainers are so valuable. They're with these guys every day. So they know, the guy that's going to maybe kind of fudge a little bit on how good he's feeling versus the guy who might play it up.
I was going to ask that is pain tolerance. And you might have, a guy who's mentally weak and he's got to be 100%. I've played with guys that if they're not 100%, they're not going out there. And I've also played with guys that were probably like 40% and they're like, I'm good. And they have a grimace on their face every time they go out there and try to take 2 steps forward.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, I think, for us, especially with these types of injuries. Now, again, fortunately, in these scenarios, we at a big program, you've got the trainers, and you really, really lean on them. A lot of times the coaches and some of the teammates will come in. We have a good culture there where the teammates feel comfortable saying, hey, I was watching so-and-so and something's wrong. I've had that happen plenty of times where we missed it, the trainers missed it, and we've had it, the teammates alert us. But it really is that you got to take every step possible. You got to listen to the player. You got to watch the player. You got to talk to the coaches. and then we make it the best decision we can. And look, we're probably wrong sometimes. We probably had guys go too early. We've had guys we probably held out an extra week that we could have gotten back early. It is you do your best and just kind of and then go with what you got.
Hanny, I've told you this before. I had the same injury. I had plantar fasciitis in both my feet in 2011, I think it was, and we had a big-time player who only had it in one foot. I never missed a practice, and he missed multiple weeks of game time. And it wasn't because I was, Tommy Tough guy. I was the fullback. And on that roster, I knew that I couldn't miss practices, and the star can. And I remember the doctors trying to leverage that other player, and he would come to me. He's like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? You're making me look bad." I'm like, "Hey, this is the NFL. College football is different. This is the NFL. You can't make the club in the tub," is the old saying. So there's all kind of scenarios and situations that go on when you're talking about these relationships and knowing a player and knowing what his pain tolerance is and what he can play through.
We talked about earlier in the injury process that if you have a hamstring and you pull it, and you try to come back too soon, you re-pull it, you got to start over. Is the abdominal injury like that?
It could be, yes. If let's just say we have somebody with this core abdominal injury, they go out there and they really push it too hard and then they re-aggravate it. Yeah, we could end up back to square one. But similar to the hamstring, it might just be hey, we're going to hold you the rest of this game and the guy's ready to go next week. And that's, again, these things are so difficult to predict. It really is. You do your best, you get them ready, you let them go, and then you hope for the best. And, anytime we have any of these guys with any of these soft tissue, I can tell you where my eyes usually are in the game is if I know this guy's rehabbing one of those injuries, I'm locked in. And it's not that I can do anything about it in the moment, but I'm just nervous.
Yeah, soft tissue is completely different than if you've got something where you can put a brace on it or something where even if you have, an AC joint, and fullbacks always get the AC joint, I can put an extra pad on there. I can maybe take some of the pain away for you. Soft tissue, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. You don't know. It could hold up perfectly, or there could be one small little cut, and you know what you're looking for, and you're like, nope, go get him. I'm telling you, you got to come back here.
It's these things are, it's a bad injury, and especially when it's in the abdominal area, only because it's not just running, it's not just throwing, it's both. If your hamstring, yes, you have to step into your throws, but you don't see a lot of hamstring injuries throwing the ball. Likewise, you're not going to see a lot of shoulder injuries running, but when it's right in that core area, it ties the whole body together.
And it hurts when you pretty much twist it in any way, right? You can't reach over your shoulder if you do something as simple as sneeze, right? You're going to feel it.
Going to the bathroom, coughing, bending down, getting up, getting down. These are tough injuries.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I had a hairline in one of my ribs, and the thought of sneezing during that time was like the most painful thing of all time.
On my back, I was like doing everything I could. I was like, please don't
it's like
sneeze.
There's dust in the room. I'm mad.
Like somebody whacked you in the back with a club or something. It's like, please don't sneeze or cough.
Hey, we've seen Sammy Sosa end up on the DL for sneezing one time. So it's serious business.
Could happen. You get a weekend off?
Actually, I did. That's where I was right before the last time. My son had fall break the week of the South Carolina game, and I usually don't take those, but I needed the recharge. I'm a new man. So.
And no game this weekend.
You get one this weekend too.
That's right.
I mean, it's
2 weeks in a row off.
Spoiled.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take a break. Come back next week. Let us know how it goes. Big game coming up a week from Saturday. Dr. Stephen Etheridge, thank you so much.
Always appreciate it.
Ask Us is next in the Bayou Ford chat. We'll do that when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you in part by Tiger Athletic Foundation. As I tell you every single day, being a former LSU student athlete, I know exactly what they mean to the program, not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. Look, we all know this is a crazy year. We all know that the numbers are not going to be where they need to be. And that's where your help can come in. Your support is critical to the future of LSU athletics because due to the restrictions around COVID-19, the loss of essential revenue to LSU athletics will be in the tens of millions of dollars. I tell you every single day that we have a go here at LSU, and that go cannot stop right now. We know that go won't stop. The Victory Fund will provide financial support for the most critical areas of need, including scholarships, healthcare, and academic support for student athletes. So if you want to find out more information about the Victory Fund, you can visit victory.lsutaf.org. The website Set Up for Success gives you a full breakdown of exactly what you're giving to. Again, victory.lsutaf.org.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, maybe not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, Executive Chef Michael Johnson answers all of your Munchies questions. We preview the biggest college games on the slate, and we continue to dive deep into the big one, Saints-Bucks Sunday Night Football. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Bayou Ford powers the all-new 104.5 ESPN mobile app. Download the app today and watch our shows daily. Listen to us live wherever you go. Find what you missed on demand and a whole lot more. It's a free download available for both Apple and Android devices and powered by Bayou Ford.
And Ask Us is in the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube. You ready?
Always. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Ask us, this is for everybody, what's your favorite kind of candy? I like M&M's.
There's not a lot of candy I'm turning down.
Right.
I'll be real
I
honest with you. I am a candy fiend. 100 Grand is fantastic, something a little bit old school. A good banana Laffy Taffy is fantastic. Peanut M&Ms are fantastic. You like regular M&Ms?
Okay, so I love regular M&Ms. I like the peanut M&Ms, but you know
peanut
what?
Butter M&Ms are.
You know what? They've got the caramel M&Ms.
Those are fantastic as well.
Those
yeah,
are
Kay, do you have a
ridiculous?
Do you have a go-to?
I'm pretty much anything with peanut butter and chocolate. So the Reese's cups and stuff like that are always a go-to for
Reese's Pieces, they're the same,
Mhm.
kind of like peanut butter M&Ms.
I mean, there's
it's the
not
same thing, yeah.
Paul, I feel like you're going to be like licorice or something.
Taffy.
No, I'm either Skittles or sour gummy worms.
Skittles.
Sour gummy worms.
Wait, wasn't
are
that?
you and my 7-year-old Hudson best friends?
Wasn't that Burroughs thing? No, he did
Like
suckers.
The
He did
caramel apple suckers.
Caramel apple suckers.
I thought it was the Arkansas coach that had the suckers.
You might have to. I
What
know
was it?
Joe. I know Joe likes
The press conference where he dropped him off at the desk or something.
Was
To
that
the
the
media?
same guy that wrecked his motorcycle, or a
No,
different
no, no,
Arkansas
no.
coach?
The guy that took over, I think. Not
Oh, no.
Is it caramel or caramel?
I've always said caramel.
Okay. Paul?
I'm caramel.
I think I am too.
Okay.
A lot of people say caramel. Caramel apple.
Do they?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe you aren't cultured enough. Maybe you haven't lived in enough
I've heard
places.
of Mount Carmel. That's like a girls' school down in. Well, there's a lot of them anyway. Ask us best gas station food in Louisiana.
Oh, this just has your name written all over it.
There is a place right outside of Lafayette called Best Stop that has boudin to die for.
Billy's in Crotch Springs has the best boudin.
Okay, well,
no doubt about it. On 190.
We make a road trip one day.
It's so good that they built like a new Billy's right next to the old one and tore the old one down because of the boudin.
Ask us, is it true they're installing bike lanes everywhere in Louisiana with the trillions from sports betting? Okay, no, it's not trillions from sports betting. I know you're being sarcastic, but if it's not politicians' jobs to save people from personal decisions that are their own personal decisions. You need a reason to make it illegal. Yes, there are going to be some people that are going to be irresponsible with gambling, okay, but that's not a reason not to make it. I mean, come on. I'm sorry. It's gonna create some revenue, and if it doesn't create revenue here, it's gonna create revenue somewhere else. So try and help us out. Ask us, many years down the road, when you're done with radio, where would you like to retire? I think we've had this one before. You won't be by the water.
I'll have something hopefully here, and I'll have a home on 30A on the water.
Okay.
That's to me, that's the best of both worlds. Come back, still watch LSU games in Death Valley, and then go back and be on the water.
I remember how I answered this last time, and it was as true then as it is now. Wherever my wife wants to retire. It's
true of everybody that's asking that question. So, yes.
Right. Ask us, probably not much chance of a good Alabama Hanny rant next week, maybe after the game, but not the type of rant that you're probably expecting. Ask us, Russ Mitchell questioned the purpose of celery on Twitter today. Are you pro celery?
I like celery with peanut butter. I do.
I mean, I'll eat a piece of celery if it's in something, but I mean, am I just going to go eat celery just to eat celery? Probably not. I've heard about people that do it with peanut butter. I've never tried it really. You could put peanut butter. You could put peanut butter on a stick, and it would probably be okay. Which is kind of like what celery is, right? It's a stick.
Celery. Celery's
It's
okay.
a regular.
Got a little crunch to it. Yeah, it's good though.
Ask us if you could have the answer to any one question. What question would you want to answer to?
I feel like you had one in mind.
I got a goofy answer to this because we had this in a class when I was in college, and this was one of the. I took one philosophy class. It was like a liberal arts elective or whatever, and the professor said they gave all the big philosophers. What's the one question, the meaning of the universe, and all this stuff. You know what these geniuses came up with?
What's that?
They wanted to know, why can't you tickle yourself? I got nothing. But if you're ticklish and somebody else tickles you, but you can't tickle yourself, that was what they came up with.
Okay, I'm not ticklish, so maybe.
So I don't need to know that, but that was the question that
I thought you were going like, what happened in the locker room in 2011 before the game. I thought that's where you were going. Like that's the.
Well, no, I asked T-Bob and he told me everything. So
yeah,
we moved on.
Tell me anything.
Moved on from that one. Ask us, other than Joe Burrow, what LSU player went on to the most impressive run in any sport? Shaquille. I mean,
Shaquille.
I would say
What Todd Walker did in baseball was really impressive.
No, Todd was great. He's one of the the top baseball players. But if you're talking about pro,
Are you talking about pros? I thought you meant like run at.
Well, he
LSU.
just he didn't specify. He just says the most impressive run in any sport. Okay, so the most impressive run of any athlete in any sport ever at LSU is Mondo Duplantis, I guess, because he's the world record holder in the pole vault. But if you're asking me a team professional sport, I would tell you Shaquille.
Yeah,
a Hall of Fame career. Ask us, do you miss Craig Schilling memes in the huddle?
Yes.
We need to figure out a way to do pictures around here. Ask us, what are you too old for but still enjoy?
Playing FIFA and Madden on Xbox. I don't get to do it very often. It's about once every 2 months, but when I do, when my son calls me out, I make sure I handle it.
One person immediately came up with video games.
Yeah.
What too old to but still enjoy? I don't know. From time to time, I watch an old cartoon.
Okay.
There's an old cartoon on the that I remember from my child. Like if there's a Foghorn Leghorn cartoon on, I'm gonna watch because
I'll slay.
Yeah, I mean because he makes me laugh. So if they happen to be on, I would do that. What happened in the locker room in 11, Hanny? I was joking.
You don't know. Nobody knows.
Nothing happened. They lost. They had a lousy game plan. We've been through this.
Something happened. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. No, I'm not.
We'll put you in charge of that. All right, you got it real quick?
I got one. What is a miracle that happens every day?
Childbirth.
Yep, I was going to go there too. Seeing that process 4 times myself, it is a miracle. And let me tell you something, my wife is much more mentally tough than I am.
Physically tough too, probably. It's life-changing for sure. For Cade Wazan, for Paul O'Neill, for Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving